Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, how's everybody? How about that Supreme Court, huh? Anybody else out there paying attention? I'm going to read something for you guys when we start the show. And it's from the person who I believe should be the next Supreme Court justice. So we were having some issues with the audio.
We're good.
You're good? Okay,
We are good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good morning, Eric the Gray. How are you, Stormy? Hey, Razorback and Lisa Copenhaver. Hi, Darius. It's nice to see you. Hi, Tiedman. Hi, Viper. Hello. Hi, Moogle. What's going on, Chief Bob? It's good to be with you guys. Hey, I mean, big news. We have 4,000 to go to authentically, day by day, showing up, you showing up, day by day. 4,000 people to go to get 100,000 followers. There's no conglomerate behind us. There's no PAC money. There's no financier. There's no connection to Rumble. There's nothing except two people who will work on weekends and holidays and every day of the week possible. And Brock works every day because he never takes a day off. And you, who always show up. This is our victory. Our victory. I hope you realize that. Yesterday, we were 7 on the leaderboard with 53,000 views. You want to know why? Because they look at all of the views of the day. They look at all of your comments. They look at all of your rumbles, all of your interactions, and they add those together. And they divide that number. And you want to know what our number is, our percentage of involvement? 78%. 78%. 3 out of 4 of you is either rumbling, commenting, liking something, being involved in. 3 out of 4. Do you have any idea what businesses would kill
for 75% return?
For a close rate of 78 freaking percent? And so I know I sit here and I bitch at you. And I'm like, hit the rumble button, please. You do. You do. And I'm very grateful. And I know it's extraordinarily annoying that I do that. And I'm sorry. I know that. Okay, so this is a perfect day.
We're just waiting for that to turn into a raise.
This is the perfect day to do this. This is the Trump coin. Now, it's a silver coin, but it's coated in obsidian. That's like lava. We're going to go and we're going to get some lava rock and we're going to melt it. We're going to dip Donald Trump into it and we're going to put it in a box and it's going to be very valuable. And you're like, seriously? Yeah, that's what this is. I'm probably totally off, but I don't think so. This is one of the things that I have. Look at it with the cool American flag. And then when you flip it over onto the back.
That'd be a nice gift to give to somebody.
Can you see am I doing it the wrong way? Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Sorry. Then you flip it over and it's the RNC. Isn't that beautiful? Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. You're like, I can't afford gold. I couldn't either. But it's amazing what you can finagle and what you can get into a gold-backed IRA. 855-927-5557. Please get in touch with them. If you're sitting on money, why? Buy precious metals through Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. You're going to love them. They offer a 6% bonus in free silver with certain purchases. You might want to ask about it. And then if you open up a gold back IRA, you're going to get this silver coin, beautimous coin, and it has my ugly picture on it and a signature. Froggy. You've become my pimp.
Wow.
I'm just going to say, too soon. Gail's going to get jealous. I know, Gail. You're still my number one, sweetie bug.
He donates, but never says, put this towards Brock's raise.
He did. He said, so we can go out and have beers. He did that the other day.
A beer isn't a raise.
He said, well, shut
Just saying.
So anyway, WendyLovesGold.com. You might really be surprised how easy it is. I don't have time. I have a very cute couple of testimonials to read to you, but my pages are all over the place. One is on Chef IQ. And I'm just going to tell you, you've got 3 more days because we're off on Friday. 3 more days to cash in on 40% off at Chef IQ. I'm just going to tell you that. We're going to grease the skids on that. And I'm going to convince more of you because it is that good. And you will be pissed if you miss out. I'm just going to say. I'm going to read you a lengthy statement, a lengthy post that a sitting United States Senator made. And that sitting United States Senator, I posit humbly, should be the next United States Supreme Court Justice.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Kavanaugh. He might have done something, voted the way he voted to
open a door with part of his. They give messages. They drop breadcrumbs.
Right.
They give clues. Here's how you go in the back door, baby. I love you guys.
Wow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey!
Well, hello, America, and greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, where today is yet another day of waking up in the greatest place on planet Earth. Supreme Court dropping some very big decisions, a few big disappointments, a few victories. We're going to talk about it. But beyond all of that, I want to begin with this idea that 8% of Democrats share that the United States is the greatest place on the planet. Only 8% of Democrats believe that. Now, if you're an extreme MAGA Republican, which means you love this country, and you tune into this program, WendyBellRadio.com every day, you are part of the vast majority that loves America, and we will stop at nothing to defend and to protect her. If that sounds like you found the right place, WendyBellRadio.com. I'm delighted you're here. Thank you, and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, if we could look at anything these final days of this particular session of the Supreme Court, if we can extrapolate anything from their rulings, it is not just that Donald Trump is not a king. It is not just that the GOP is a rubber stamp for whatever Donald Trump wants. It is not just that we are not just sycophants who are riding a red wave. It is that there is no such thing as extreme MAGA republicanism. It's called love of country. And Hakeem Jeffries and others have conflated that subject. In a blow to, I think, every common sense America, moments ago, the Supreme Court ruled Donald Trump, gave him a decisive blow in a 6-3 vote, saying that, yes, if you're a foreigner, whether you're an illegal alien, if you're somebody from another country who's traveling here, if you're a birth tourist who got pregnant and came to the United States specifically to have your baby give birth on American soil, your child, those kids are American citizens. That is not what the framers intended, for sure. Who voted along with the 3 liberal justices? Amy Coney Barrett, yet again. John Roberts, the Chief Justice, yet again, and Brett Kavanaugh, who left a little breadcrumb trail, which is very interesting. I think that sometimes, though our conservative justices don't always vote in lockstep, in fact, almost never do, every now and again, somebody like a Kavanaugh or a Gorsuch will join an opinion that you kind of disagree with. This I bigly disagree with. So that in their opinion, they can write the roadmap that astute congressmen and women and senators can pay attention to challenge constitutionally through the Congress and constitutional amendments, which go to all of the states, to challenge that ruling. And I think that's exactly what happened. I want to read to you what I believe is a very good explanation and what's coming next from the man I believe unequivocally, and have for some time now, should be the next Supreme Court Justice, Senator Eric Schmitt from Missouri. I want to read you what he wrote. I don't normally give up a monologue. This is worth it. This is what he writes. The Supreme Court's birthright citizenship decision is wrong, dangerous, and disastrous for American sovereignty and the American people. If we can't fix it with ordinary legislation, then we must do what the Constitution commands in moments of national crisis. We must amend the Constitution and restore American citizenship. We must again put we the people first. The Supreme Court's decision constitutionalizing unlimited birthright citizenship for the children of illegal aliens and temporary present aliens is wrong and disastrous for our sovereignty and the future of our republic. The decision exposes America to grave national security risks and threatens to erode the integrity of the core of American self-government, citizenship. Citizenship is more than paperwork issued by the government. It is more than a bureaucratic label that grants access to government programs. Citizenship is the covenantal bond between a nation and its people. In a republic like ours, Senator Eric Schmitt writes, that bond carries enormous weight. In the United States, sovereignty does not belong to a king or a ruling class. It belongs to the American people themselves. Citizenship defines the legal recognition of who the American people are. Citizenship defines the political community that governs the United States. It defines who exercises the sovereign authority of this republic. But under the Supreme Court's erroneous interpretation, the Constitution now requires citizenship for anyone who happens to be born on U.S. soil, even if their parents entered the country illegally. In other words, even if the American people, the citizenry, have prohibited those parents from entering our territory, even if they're here temporarily as tourists or on student visas, even if they have no intention of joining the American nation. That is a dramatic departure from how serious nations understand citizenship. Under the Supreme Court's decision, citizenship no longer reflects allegiance or loyalty to a country and its laws. It becomes an administrative status to be seized by interlopers. This ruling is the final alarm bell. The bond of American citizenship has slowly eroded through a series of Supreme Court opinions, congressional actions, and inactions, and circumstances that the framers of our Constitution and the 14th Amendment could not have foreseen. The result is a constitutional order in which the American people are losing control over the most basic question in any republic: who belongs to the political community that governs the nation? This has been the central fight of my work in this important year for American national identity. Again, this is written by Senator Eric Schmitt moments ago. I led an amicus brief in this very case. I convened a hearing on birthright citizenship and the meaning of the 14th Amendment. I have pressed this issue because citizenship is the threshold question of the republic. If we lose control of it, we lose control of self-government itself. In the wake of an erroneous Supreme Court ruling like this one, Congress has a duty to examine the Constitution's text, the historical record, and the policy consequences. Congress also has the power to respond. When the court mistakenly interprets a statute, Congress can amend the statute through bicameralism and presentment. But when the court entrenches its mistake as a constitutional command, the remedy must match the injury. Congress can propose an amendment under Article 5, and the states can ratify it. That process is purposefully difficult. It requires 2/3 of each chamber of Congress and ratification by 3/4 of the states. Here, the Supreme Court issued a constitutional ruling. Ordinary legislation cannot repair the damage. A constitutional amendment is now required. Accordingly, I will be announcing a forthcoming constitutional amendment to restore the sacred bond between American citizens and their government. That amendment will restore the original American understanding of citizenship. It will restore the right of the American people to define their own political community, and it will ensure that citizenship once again reflects allegiance, permanence, and membership in the American nation. Today is a sad day in the history of our republic, but America and the Constitution have survived for 250 years because each generation has had patriots who, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, valiantly fought back the existential threats this great nation has faced. Our generation's existential threat is a hostile takeover through mass migration. We must and we will honor the patriots who came before us by doing our part to ensure we pass on America, the Constitution, and our nation, the real versions, not desiccated husks. And that work begins with restoring the right of the American people to decide who joins the political community that governs the United States and exercises the people's sovereignty. Yes, 100%. These are the moments, ladies and gentlemen, that call people who have been slumbering, who have been quiet in the shadows, who've waited for somebody else to take the bullets and the barbs to rise up and join the ranks of the proud, the mighty, the Americans. Are you in or are you out? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Chuck Schumer is not having a good day today, you guys. I know, poor Chuck. Hopefully he's barbecuing some burgers for the 4th. We'll talk about what Harry Enton says is going on with Chucky next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Is that like brilliant?
Let me say this.
That's an Alito. That's a Scalia. That is a Thomas-style dissent. I mean, like, holy smokes. Go ahead.
I'm going to be a Debbie Downer for a second.
Okay.
I like Eric Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
He can put it forward.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing. They can't even show up for work, let alone vote on this shit.
I don't want to have time with people who are like, it'll never happen. Nobody's in handcuffs.
Well,
Nobody's.
Let me say this.
The wheels have changed.
Let's
Take a
start.
while.
Let's start a little smaller, with two things. If you're here illegally now and your child now isn't, I don't give a shit. Get out. Throw them all out, and then you can come back and have your kids sponsor you or whatever. But throw them all out and get rid of dual citizenship. Enough of that.
You got a lot of Congress you need to get rid of
it. You either are American or you're not. Get rid of it.
I want to talk to you guys about Chef IQ. Shar sent me a great email. Okay, Wendy, I bought Chef IQ. I was skeptical about it. She admits. Boy, am I happy. I'm presuming that Char is a girl. So if you're a boy, I'm sorry. Boy, am I happy I bought this product. I just cooked chicken thighs. I always overcook or undercook them, right? I use the Chef IQ. I listened to the device, even though I thought, no way is this going to work out, but it did. My chicken was cooked to perfection, not dry, not undercooked. It does take me some getting used to, but I am learning. Great product. Trust the process. You will not be unhappy. This is it. Chef IQ Cents, the 250th edition, squished box, but America 250, it says 40% off. ChefIQ.com. Throw my name in there, and and you'll get the discount. I know I show it to you every day. This is what it is. It's so simple. This is the 3-prong 250. There's little stars in there. I know, it's so cute. $120. It's $200. They give you $80 off. It's stupid. You guys, this is going to change your world. You will never have a bad piece of fish, meat, steak, whatever again. ChefIQ.com. Promo code Wendy, 40% off. This is the Chef IQ Cents 250th birthday celebration. It's the best. And the charging cable for it's right back here. So don't throw away your box. Do you think Donna knows that we're sending it to her? Because at the end
because you keep holding it up, she probably thinks they're
here all week, so I want to show it. I'm not gonna I don't want her to think I just re-gifted because I didn't have a good idea. If you guys,
it wasn't your idea.
If
Just like
about how Trump is this and he wants that and he's a dictator and he's a king. And it's the Democrat Party. He's like, we're totally going to stack the court. We're going to pack it with all sorts of liberals. We're going to expand the size of the country so we add more states, so we pick up more representation. We're going to bring in millions of people who don't belong here, including rapists, murderers, cartel members, human traffickers, all those people. Like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. As long as we can get them across the finish line and to vote, to be counted, right? Like we're all going to Bethlehem to be counted. That's how it's going to work. Can you think of anything more un-American? And every single daggone thing those people on the left talk about. And now their chickens have come home to roost. Oh, Chuck Schumer is, I guess, the Democrats' kryptonite. If you're a moderate Democrat right now, your head is in the guillotine and the guy with the strings getting itchy, right? Because they're coming for you. They don't care who you are. You're just going to get swept up in this wave of socialism, communism, Marxism, crazy. And this is a wild bit of numbers from Harry Enton over at CNN. He's at the screen and he's like, my goodness, Chuck Schumer's favorability. This guy was the head of the freaking Senate. And now people can't stand him. He is the ultimate kryptonite everybody's trying to get away from. And this is what he says in audio soundbite number 1. Look, the Democratic Party has fundamentally changed. And it's fundamentally changed in like 1 month. Listen.
It's no longer the overall electorate that doesn't like Chuck Schumer. Look at this change among Democrats themselves. Chuck Schumer's net favorable rating with Dems now versus the last time Democrats were going for that Senate majority. In early 2020, look at this. Chuck Schumer was 40 points above water, very much on the positive side of the ledger with Democrats. Look at this. Look at this change. This is nuts. Johnny B off on the side going, my goodness gracious. Now he's a point underwater with Democrats. Chuck Schumer isn't unpopular overall. He is that. He's not just that. He's actually not popular with Democrats.
He's not popular with Democrats. All of that's changing. I mean, and we're watching this complete, like, it's sort of like the caterpillar has made the cocoon. And unfortunately, they're coming out not as a beautiful butterfly, but as like the ugly LGBTQIA plus flag, right? It's coming out as a kaleidoscope of vomit. And it's called basically socialism, communism. It's where we're going. And if you're not extreme enough, if you don't have wild enough ideas, if you don't hate Jews enough, literally, that is a metric now of this super fringe, but growing in momentum socialist left. This is I want to talk to you about these numbers from New York Democrats. They're screaming primary challenger for Chuck Schumer, who just a matter of years ago was the dude in charge with the gavel. Listen.
Look at this. Okay, New York Dems who view Chuck Schumer favorably. Again, in early 2020, it was 75%, 3 in 4 Democrats. Now it is less than half. Less than half of Democrats in Chuck Schumer's home state of New York, 47% who view him favorably. This is part of a larger picture in which Democrats are turning against their leadership. They are specifically turning against Chuck Schumer. He is actually underwater nationally with Democrats. And even in his own home state of New York, the Empire State, he can't even reach 50% favorable rating.
Now, you heard what I said about Democrats taking an increasingly anti-Jewish stance. Now, they've been this way for a while, which has always baffled us about how Jews can vote Democrat. These things don't work together. They just don't, period. And if Josh Shapiro thinks in Pennsylvania he has like caviar dreams of being president one day, I'm sorry to tell you, brother, ain't gonna happen. They will not let it happen. I want you to hear Scott Wiener. This is the nutbag in California who pushed the legislation that if a man wanted to have sex with a child, well, if it was a 16 or a 17-year-old, that's okay. I mean, let's just make that a misdemeanor. A felony seems kind of punitive. That guy who wants to be Nancy Pelosi's heir apparent and take her spot in the House. That guy who is as whatever flaming you can be in the LGBTQIA plus crowd goes to a transgender event over the weekend and is literally attacked by his own crowd that Dr. Frankenstein created. Here's Scott Wiener, and he's just basically realizing he's being hunted now, and that's scary as nuts.
Here it was different. I went to the park to attend the trans march, attending a trans-led Pride Shabbat first. And these folks ran towards me and swarmed around me. A few of them touched me, and they were, screaming at me while they were doing it and trying to bully me and intimidate me out of the park. And I ended up leaving because it wasn't safe for me to remain. They were also lying about my record on Gaza. They were talking about how I have, quote unquote, Israeli handlers, which is a classic anti-Semitic trope about Jews having dual loyalty and not being loyal to the U.S. And it was just well beyond free speech, and it's really harmful to democracy.
Harmful to democracy. Now you know what it feels like to be an ICE agent, Scott. Now you know what it feels like to be a police officer during your 2020 George Floyd riots. Now you know what it feels like to be a pro-life Republican. Scott, you know who wasn't in that crowd? Heckling you, harassing you, threatening you, touching you? Republicans. You created monsters on the left, folks. They're not coming for the right. They're coming for you. And that should scare the everlasting love out of you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, what an absolute Democrat clusterball. You know, those who are not progressive enough are scrambling to show how extreme they are. So the communists they created by hating Trump, don't kick them out of the tent. You cannot make this up. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You know what I heard from MAGA after October 7th? Absolute horror. Horror. How come people on the left, how come a bunch of people on the left were celebrating it? They got what they deserve. I'm sorry. What? That was a big day. Okay. In other news, the whole transgender and sports thing, not allowed to do that anymore. Isn't it a shame that we got to get to this? We've got to go to the high court because as a society, we don't have common sense to stand up and be like, if you have a penis, you're not going to be playing against my daughter Okay? Because anybody who lives in Realville knows that people who have penises are stronger than those who have vaginas. Okay? You have stronger muscles. Your bodies are built differently. You've got everything going for you strength-wise. People know the difference between men and women. Women deserve their spaces. Men deserve theirs. I was against that broad going into the Citadel back in the 90s or whatever it was. Can't dudes have their spaces? Do we have to crash every glass ceiling and ruin everybody's party? Do girls always have to do that? And now the Supreme Court finally was like, well, you know, if you have a penis, you can't play in girls' sports. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad it's taken this long. I'm glad it's taken girls getting injured, right? People being, you know, kicked out of things, having to choose. It's idiotic. America's adults shit the bed and our children suffered. I'm just going to say that. Anywho, I want to tell you about this from Knockout, I used it multiple times today because it was trash day and we had chicken wings last night. I'm like, and out go the bones. Thank you very much. By the time I literally got back from the curb, from taking the bag down to the garbage can, it was, smelled good again. Level. Hey, Wendy, our son got married in December. My parents came from Pittsburgh and brought a cooler of fish, fresh fish, for our Italian Christmas Eve dinner. Due to December, this is, I guess, in December. Okay, so due to us being in a hurry, we emptied the cooler and forgot all about it. When it was time for them to leave, we opened the cooler and found mold. That is a special slice of funk you got going on, a fishy cooler over a period of time with mold, right? I might take cat urine over that. Maybe.
No.
I gave him one of our coolers, planned on cleaning theirs. Again, I forgot about it. About 4 to 6 weeks ago. Okay, so this is months later. 4 to 6 weeks. I remember it and sprayed it with Knockout. And since I'm a woman in menopause who lives life like the book, if you give a pig a pancake, I forgot about it again. Today I remembered it, opened it up, and the mold and the smell are gonzo. I scrubbed it and cleaned it, and it's ready to be used again. The stuff is legit. If you do nothing else today, disinfectwithsniper.com. Do yourself a favor wherever you live. Shipping is free. Get yourself a bottle of Sniper. This is what it looks like. Get yourself a bottle of Knockout. Knockout kills any odor, and it's also a badass degreaser. How those two things go together, I'll never know. Disinfectwithsniper.com. And don't get me started on the 250th flags, because our friend who owns Disinfect with Sniper just dropped off a new flagpole at my house.
Oh, he didn't put it up for you?
No. I didn't see him. I think it was Sam. So
you need to text him. Was the installation fee more? He'll laugh.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, I'm a little hot today, as you guys can tell.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I follow the mentality of repetition. The things that you continue to do, even American people want the SAVE Act. They continue to ignore you. American people want common sense. They continue to ignore you. They go on vacation. So, yeah, there is a part of me that says you're not going to get 2/3. You can't get 2/3 to agree on anything. But
I don't know, man. I have a prediction.
Okay. I hope you're right.
I have a prediction. I predict that your moderate Democrats who have not subscribed to the progressive bullcrap, right? They're going to align with MAGA. They're going to need MAGA to fight this war, because it's going to be a war.
I hope you're right.
And Democrats don't have any guns, apparently, because they think they're bad for your health and that you should give yours up.
But we have the same problem on our side. We have the Mike Lawlers. Say what you want. You said you were unhappy with him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Dude says
I had the choice to use him today, and I said no because I didn't want to put him in.
Dude says one thing, does another.
Right. By the way, did you guys know, guess how many babies are born from foreigners, whether they're illegals? And this isn't even like illegal numbers. We don't even have good. Most recent number I have is from 2023.
12,000.
320,000.
Holy
Guess how many birth tourism babies are born in the United States every year?
150, half.
No, 32,000.
That's
Add those together, and you've got 350,000. It's almost like how many missing kids there are that the Democrats invited over and just, I'm sure he's with a good pedophile somewhere.
I'm going to stick with, I hope Trump says, that's it then. We got to get rid of everybody. If you don't have papers, you're gone, period.
All right. So
you've been here 20 years? Too bad.
I don't know why I did that. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. In a bit of good high court news, trannies can't play girl sports anymore, okay? I mean, what a shame that we had to go this far, that we had to entertain a Supreme Court justice who couldn't define the word woman. I mean, like, we had to go this far, and that America's daughters had to deal with so much suck because adults couldn't show up and do what needed to be done. We had to go to the high court to decide that. Is it fair for a boy to play girl sports? It'd be like, is it fair? Is it fair for somebody who's in a wheelchair to run against a sprinter? Is that the same thing? I mean, it's the dumbest thing in the world. And yet we've been numbed to believe that nobody seems to know which way is up anymore. No, my barometer's intact. I feel pretty good about this. And I think we're going to see a strange alignment. The more the progressive, socialist, communist, Marxist, fringe, wackadoodle group of the left turns on the moderate Democrats, who really aren't that moderate, the more that happens, the more I think Democrats are going to look to the Republicans and be like, yeah, I know we've been calling you people crazy for the last 10 years or so. We're sorry about that. Can we come under your tent? Because ours is bat crap crazy. I wouldn't be surprised. There's some interesting sound on this. I want to read you something quickly about this. Daria Lisa via Chevalier, whatever, deleted tweets on her account, this gal who just won her primary as a socialist/communist in New York. This K file, Andrew Kaczynski over at CNN did a little bit more digging into the email account and the handle that this Daria Lisa piece of work tried to erase but could not. And this is what he found. Via Chevalier, a sociology PhD student whose victory sent shockwaves throughout the Democratic establishment. Really? Did it really? Because if it did, you guys are dumb and you're not paying attention, because we've been warning you. Like, we've been warning you since the 1960s. Where have you been? Right? Well, she's been under fire for a since deleted Twitter account, previously reported by CNN, that included phrases such as seize the means of production, along with calls to abolish police, prisons, and borders. Other controversial tweets include one that said Black and Arab men are both fetishizing ugly colonizer women. Really? And that, of course, described herself as wiping her dirty hands on the American flag in lieu of a napkin. As an undergraduate, she attended Columbia University, where she was gainfully indoctrinated, where she organized with Students for Justice in Palestine, who, by the way, celebrated October 7th as the Jews got their just desserts. That is among the most despicable things ever in my lifetime, I'm just going to say. She also attended a controversial October 8th, 2023 pro-Palestinian rally in Times Square, one day after Hamas, the attack on Israel, that featured speeches and rhetoric praising the attack. Now, her defense is, well, I've grown considerably since then. Well, it's been 3 years, babe. It's really been 2.5. And no, you didn't. It's a nice try. So now you're stuck with Democrats, with these clowns. They're going to say, well, we're all under one big tent, so whatever. We're just a big melting pot. Everybody is welcome. All the freaks and geeks, come on in. Even some terrorists, come on in. Really? Well, Pramila Jayapal, who's called Israel a racist state, just to know where we all are on that. Look, I'm no Bibi Netanyahu fan. I understand that there is a lot of deep-rooted give and go there. I understand that. But good Lord. This broad used to be the radical progressive part of the party. Now she's just kind of a wishy-washy moderate trying to claim her own survival. She's on CNN last night, Pramila Jayapal is, with Caitlin Collins. And Caitlin asks her like the elephant in the room question, like, are you worried at all about these weirdos? This lunge to the left? And you got to hear the practiced talking points as she, like her left eye, she's got like fish eyes, you know, one's kind of bigger than another. And she's looking at her and she's like, no, everything's perfect. Watch and listen.
But there are House Democrats who seem worried about this as well. Tom Suozzi said, quote, we are capitalist, not socialist. Excuse me. What do you think these wins mean for the Tom Suozzi's, the more moderate establishment Democrats of your party?
Well, look, I think we're always told as progressives that we're a big tent party, that there has to be room for people who don't agree with progressives 100% of the time. That's got to be true the other way as well. If we are a big tent party, we have to have both sides of the big tent included. And I think there are going to be issues where we don't agree 100% of the time. But I think what Leader Jeffries said is right. We are focused on making life better for the American people. And Democratic voters across the country are choosing people they think will stand up and fight for working people.
Caitlin Collins is gagging on this because she can smell the poo that's coming out of Jayapal. We're the party that wants to make things better for people. You know, after we fudged everything up and made it so much worse, we're going to come in like the firefighter arsonist and we're going to save the day. You know, Democrats really want us to forget the more than 20% cost of living explosion under Joe Biden, that housing costs jumped about 21%, that rents rose the same amount, mortgage rates more than doubled from early 2021 levels, that the price of gas under Joe Biden and Democrats jumped 45%, and that electricity costs went up 29%. Credit card balances rose to record levels, Americans carrying more than $1 trillion of debt and paying about 50% more in interest and fees by 2023 than they did the year before Biden took office when Donald Trump was president. So spare us the we're down with your cost of living worries. You freaking created it, Pramila, you feckless twit. And let's think about their spending in 4 years. $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act, $1.2 trillion Infrastructure Jobs Act, $485 billion Inflation Reduction Act, $280 billion CHIPS and Science Act. Ladies and gentlemen, in 4 years, just those 5 things, $5.5 trillion in new spending, with the average American taxes going up $1,500. That's $3.76 billion of our money they spend every day. Give us a little bit of honesty, Pramila, because you guys did that. Then CNN says, hey, you know what? This Daria Lisa Chevalier, whatever, deleted social media, shows her embracing communist ideas. Caitlin Collins asks the Congresswoman, are you cool with that? Oh, absolutely. I think it's great. What?
Our colleagues over at K-File found that one of the candidates who won in New York last week, Daria Lisa Avia Chevalier, she's running in New York 13, I believe. Yeah. She repeated sympathetic references to communism, Marxist ideology, Soviet figures like Vladimir Lenin. Do you believe that complicates the argument in favor of these candidates who are Democratic Socialists?
I think Daria Lisa Avila Chevalier ran a campaign that convinced the voters of her district that she would stand up and fight for them. Whatever labels you want to attach to it, whatever she said, I believe that we've got to understand that Big Tent means Big Tent, and voters have to be respected. And so are there going to be disagreements about language she may have used? And I'm not sure when that language was used. The campaign that I saw was very much about what working people want.
So that's the talking point for the Democratic Party. Now we're a big tent, a lot of big ideas. I mean, she ran a good campaign. I mean, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And then there's Stephen A. Smith on the exact opposite. This guy is the furthest thing from a Republican, but he sees the writing on the wall.
If you're a Democrat in the United States, particularly in New York City, Zohran Mamdani is coming. And if he's coming, what does that mean for the rest of America? Because I got questions. Where has socialism ever succeeded? If so, tell us where that is. How is it going to succeed in New York? How are you going to sell that in a capitalistic society? You might do it in New York with young voters. What about the people in the suburbs? What about them? You really, really think this kind of message is going to resonate with them? Because, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about here is this. If it resonates within the Democratic Party, but it doesn't have a snowball's chance of resonating in a general election, then you're basically handing the presidency to the GOP in 2028 as well. That's what you're doing. Because the party, the Democratic Party, will have been perceived as being fragmented. That's what I'm seeing when I see Zohran Mamdani.
I don't think he's wrong. And moments after that dropped, Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports was over on Fox with Jesse Waters, and he dropped something I don't think anybody was expecting.
So I've always thought I would never get involved in politics. I think you can do more in the private sector. This and what is going on has actually made me pause that thought. I was saying to you, that old Plato quote, if you don't do your public service and run for office, you're doomed to be run by basically dummies. Right. And right now, I feel like that's what's happening. Now, not everyone's getting out to vote. I think what the Democrats have done is they've let the fox into the henhouse. Right. And now he's just running rampant and kicking them all out. Right. So it's a scary time. We need leaders to step up. Depending on what day you catch on me in Nantucket, when I roll out of bed, I have a nice ocean view, and it's like, why do I want to ruin my life and get involved in this mess? Because I know what comes with it. But sometimes I do feel like it's my duty. I can't turn away. I feel like I could make a change. Maybe I do run in politics. So I don't know. It depends on the day you catch me. But let me say this. I spend a lot of my day losing my mind on what's happening right now, especially in New York. Yeah. I mean, you got the Nazi in Maine. This really, really, really worries me. So
you might run against Mamdani.
I would love to run against. If I was going to run, it would be here. Can I win here? I have no idea. I don't know the demographics, whether I get enough votes. There's a lot of people who like me in New York City. I know that. I've done a lot of good in New York City when I wasn't thinking about politics, whether it's the Barstool Fund, pizza places. So it wasn't for show. I've had a real job. I've done real things, unlike these clown politicians who have never had a job and never been in the real world for a day. Right. But the people voting for these people who just won are like these young, white, like Ivy League-ish, elite-ish women. It's like, who are they? Like, they'll never vote for me. They'll never believe in common sense.
They are the scourge of this country, as I've said. Listen to the voices of those who have not gotten involved, looking in the mirror and now saying, I have to do something. That's what this is all triggered, ladies and gentlemen. That's what that Supreme Court decision on birthright citizenship has just triggered. Mark my words. Speaking of Nazis in Maine, did a labor leader in Maine just say the Democrats who don't support Graham Plattner for Senate should face a firing squad? Yeah, you did. Yeah, I've got that story for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
So to answer your question, because off camera, Wendy asked me,
What's
I
up with
follow
this?
Dave Portnoy.
Mm-hmm. You said he fell?
He fell, I think at home, but like his leg was all jacked up.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's
he fell.
unfortunate.
I'll vote for Miss Peaches, his dog.
Oh, my gosh.
Definitely vote for Miss Peaches.
When you drink something on the weekend, even though you get paid Monday through Friday to talk about the product on this program, is that a product that you think is good, that works? I'm going to say yes. If I use your product on the weekends, even though I don't have to, but because I want to, that means you're part of a very small group of people. That is Dr. Stephen Gundry. That is his business. That is this drink. It's called MCT Wellness. And if you have significant weight to lose and you're struggling right now, let me tell you, this is an affordable, delicious thing and very easy to add to your life. Think of a scoop of this in one of the glasses of water that you're already drinking as a meal substitute, because what it does is it crushes your appetite, stops those food cravings, allows you to get through several hours of your day where you would normally go grab something that you shouldn't, and you don't eat. And when you don't eat, you're not only not gaining weight, you're losing it. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds drinking this. Does it happen overnight? Is it going to happen by next Thursday? No. But if you don't want to live with weight loss injections your whole life, you don't want to ride that roller coaster, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Again, there's a video to watch. Please watch the video. Please watch the video. I was annoyed until I started watching, and it took me about 40 seconds. And then I was like, ooh, because he talks about all the stuff that you think that you're eating that's smart, that's absolutely derailing you. And you're like, really? But I like that. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. At the end of the video is the opportunity to buy the product. Get the blueberry. The watermelon lemonade's great too, but the blueberry, pew. Okay? I buy it. I'm a subscriber. I could get it for free, but I buy it because that's where you put your money where your mouth is. Right? I got to show I appreciate him, and I do.
I'd like to congratulate everyone on making it through another Pride Month. Today's the last day. I saw something, I counted today.
Oh, boy.
From home to here. 4 Pride flags, 0 American flags.
Interesting.
So, congratulations on you all for surviving another BS month of celebrating someone's deviance and sexuality.
1.47 thousand rumbles. Thank you. Look, I do not believe that people who are gay are deviant. I don't believe that. I don't want to know about it. I don't tell you about my sex life. I don't want to know about yours. I'm not making out on the street with Joe, groping him wearing crotchless pants or chapless or
assless chaps.
Assless chaps.
No, I'm not deviant. You're right. Deviant's the wrong word. But when you see the guy from Minnesota signing a bill saying, yeah, we can have gay bathhouses, those people.
And if you're riding a unicycle with,
your
without
wiener hanging out, your Scott Wiener.
I'm just going to say you're a freak. Like the freaks that were prancing all over the White House lawn on Easter Sunday, which was renamed Trans Day of Visibility. If you want to get punched in the gut, that's who the left is all about. So good luck, Scott Wiener. Don't look to the right for defense because you know we're carrying. This is one of those stories. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program that, I mean, I got fired. I'm just going to put this in perspective, okay? I've been fired from my jobs multiple times. All reasons, garbage. All 3 places that fired me had the right in an at-will or whatever state. A boss in Pennsylvania can fire anybody because they don't like their lipstick. It's the way it goes. So there's really not a whole lot of defense. But in one of the instances in which I was fired, I was sacked because I said, can the black people in my community stop killing other black people? Can you be black in my neighborhood and not get shot and killed? Is that too far? Is that a bridge too far? Right? And, oh, she's racist. No, I'm telling you the truth. There's a problem, and it hasn't changed in 10 years since I got fired. Nobody's changed it. Not the white community, sure as hell not the black community. I was just a skinny white girl with a big mouth who was like, I'm tired of reporting on the news about another 13-year-old who's picked off eating a bag of chips walking off the freaking bus. And I got fired for that. Fair enough. It is what it is. But I told the truth. These people are just damn crazy. There's a difference. You might be uncomfortable with the truth, in which the onus is on you. It's not my responsibility for you to interpret everything I say the way I mean it. It's illogical. It's insane. And then you have people on the left who say the most vile and reprehensible things, and people like Pramila Jayapal who use it, well, it's a Big Ten. So, I mean, I know he's a dirty racist, but I mean, whatever. We're all about ideas over here on the left. If you really think that's going to stick the landing, then you've got to explain to people why this guy, Andy O'Brien, who is the communications director for the Maine AFL-CIO, a statewide federation of 160 local unions, posted on social media suggesting Democrats who refuse to support Democrat U.S. Senate nominee Graham Plattner should face execution after a, quote, revolution. What? O'Brien shared a link to a Hill opinion piece titled, "I'm a Democrat strategist. I won't stay silent about Graham Plattner" by Democrat strategist Lori Watkins, who wrote that a career spent fighting for Democrat causes does not mean blindly supporting every candidate with a D by their name. It's kind of how I felt when I ditched the party for John McCain or because of John McCain and Mitt Romney. I get it. O'Brien's response, however, was brutal. Again, the comms director for the AFL-CIO, you guys know who that is, saying political consultants like Watkins should be first up against the wall when the revolution comes. Before supporting Plattner, O'Brien was known for publicly calling out people he accused of holding extremist or neo-Nazi views. After facing backlash, O'Brien said the post was meant as a joke. It was really funny, referencing a science fiction novel, not a call for violence. He apologized to anyone offended and said he never intended to suggest harming people over their political views. That's not what I said, he said. I was making a joke about people from away mansplaining our state because they summered here. It was a reference to a quote in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams' hero. That said, I apologize to anyone who's upset by this stupid joke. I never meant to imply any violent intent against people I disagree with politically. I deplore political violence. Oh, bull crap. That's like James Carville suggesting that Democrats don't hate anyone. Are you crazy? Did you not see how those people in California turned on the wiener himself and called him all sorts of horrible names because he's a Jew? Do you not see how you cover everything President Trump and would relish in his assassination? Did you not watch the assault on the pregnant and the pro-life? Did you not see the entrapment of 1,500 people at the state capitol on January 6th, the exculpatory evidence that was withheld from them, the complete biased prosecution, and them getting basically flushed down the toilet and sent like Tina Peters to death sentences in prison? But you're right, James Carville. You're right, Andy, whatever your face is, O'Brien. I'm sure you didn't mean any harm by it. You're such peaceful, loving, inclusive Big Tent people, after all. I mean, so what if it's a communist? like whatever. It's just, that's just a label. We love everybody. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is on tap next. It is about waking up the electorate. So much of the Supreme Court stuff, so many of the news items today. America is going to get the elections it deserves when it demands the people who cheat get exposed and punished. Could be happening next. Gosh, I almost had a few things to say there.
Don't you love how freedom of speech only exists on the left?
I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say.
We can say that. We can't say that Trump can't say that Haiti's a shithole, but they can say what they want about Israel. we can't say that Somalians are criminals, but they can say we're fascists. Got it.
35% off. All right, so this is one of those things that I'm very excited to share with you. Lymph system support. Like I'll be honest with you. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about my lymph system. And woefully, I'm not so sure I've even said lymph system before. But when the folks from Pure Health Research got in touch with us and they started telling us about this product, and they're like, look, your people can try this and use the whole bottle and consider how it makes them feel. 365-day money-back guarantee, promo code Wendy. PureHealthResearch.com, 35% off this. What does it do? This is specifically for your legs. If you feel like during the day or towards the end of the day, your legs get exponentially heavier, they feel tired, they feel swollen, almost bloated. And when you take your socks off, you've got that little elastic ridge around your ankles, and it looks like your leg, like your loaf of bread coming out of the tray or out of the pan. It could be your lymph system, and it could be a simple fix. And that is why the people in charge of this, they say it's not just a part of getting older. You can think it is, but it could be your lymphatic system. The lymph system is your body's internal drainage network. It helps move excess fluid, excess fats, and waste out of your tissues. So when your lymph system slows down, it's not moving out waste and fluids and whatnot out of your system as quickly as it should. That stuff kind of bottles up and you swell. Right? So this is where lymph system support from Pure Health Research comes in. This powerful formula contains 8 science-backed ingredients, including bromelain from pineapple, dandelion extract, burdock root, and rutin, which is designed to support healthy lymphatic flow and help reduce uncomfortable fluid retention. I would liken it to feeling like bloated, but like you almost go like this and you leave a mark in your skin and you're just like, ugh. What is wrong with me? Most people, after they take it, feel noticeably lighter, that they're less swollen, and that their legs even look more slender and toned. So right now you can try lymph system support completely risk-free. It's not going to apply to everybody, but if you have that problem, this could be it. And I know there's some of you out there who are like, I thought it was just me. It's not just you. Try it. PureHealthResearch.com, promo code Wendy. 35% off. It's one of those weird things to talk about because you can't taste it. You're not like, oh, look, it feels this way. But when you use it and you experience the effects, fingers crossed, I think you're going to be happy. Thank you for trying it if you are so inclined. You know how I love my sponsors.
For the person asking if this is one big infomercial, I put it in the chat. I just wanted to make sure you heard it too. We need to work. We can't work for free. We need to pay taxes so illegals can get free shit.
Yeah, I pay for me and I pay for him and I pay to uplink this satellite feed and I pay to license everything. I pay for our taxes. I pay for all the equipment. I pay for all of our computers. Everything that we do, you guys help me pay for. So thank you very much. And yes, I have about 17 sponsors, which is an obscene, unheard of privilege. So I'm completely stacked. Actually, I could squeeze in 2 more, but I thought that would be overkill. But they're on deck, ready to go because of you guys. So thank you guys for your support. We're both a little fussy today. Both a little bit fussy. We both have very few F's left to give.
I have 0.
Very few. The bottle looks full, but let me tell you, I'm throwing them around like hot potatoes. All right. It's so interesting that all of the people that when rulings come down and President Trump has been bogged down in lawfare forever and ever and ever, but he abides by the rules. He abides by the judge's decisions, even when they're wacky, and they appeal them and they go where they have to go. But and the president even suggested yesterday, he was talking about it, that he didn't think this birthright citizenship case was going to go his way. But with Brett Kavanaugh, and I need to find his dissent, because his dissent is what opened that door to Senator Schmidt writing this, we need a constitutional amendment. And the only way to do that is to make it happen. And, we'll see. It's a lot of people to prevent becoming Americans just because they happen to be birthed here. And we saw this with the freaking caravans. Remember when Donald Trump in his first term in 2019, he was like, there's a couple of big groups of people, caravans coming up from South America, and they're on their march. They're heading to Mexico and they want to cross in, and the media were like, what a jerk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then what do you find out? Oh, here's 2,000 people. And you know what they were not carrying? The American flag. They were carrying their flags. I'm like, well, why the F are you coming into my country, escaping your country, but bringing its flag? How about that?
Get rid of dual citizenship.
How about that? It's not a game show. You have to choose. Which one are you? An American or something else? And if you just want to mooch off of the goodness of the American people, that needs to be put an end to. Okay? A majorly big time end.
How about this? Just take away if you're an illegal, you are not permitted to have social welfare.
Oh, but you're also not supposed to be voting. That doesn't happen, Brock. It's already illegal. Right? It's almost like I hate everyone. Not everyone, but a lot of people. A little bit.
Right. I'll say it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live, and a delight to be with you. Hey, we're inching towards 8.3 million podcast downloads. If you miss any of the show or you'd like to go back because you're hearing us for the first time, please do. Wendy Bell Radio, plug it in wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and you'll be part of our army. So glad you're here. All right, so as we're talking about this Supreme Court decision on the birthright citizenship, and 6 justices, you got Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Justice John Roberts. They got dirt on Roberts and Barrett. I'm just telling you. And Mitch McConnell was the one who told Trump to get Barrett on the Supreme Court. It's like so weird, right? 6-3 with the liberal justices. If you're born in the United States, bingo, it's magic wand time. You're an American citizen. It is a devastating decision that's going to prompt some legal action. But I wanted to not leave this conversation behind yet. Do you know how many babies are born in America every year to people who are not citizens of these United States? And I'm going to say this number is from 2023. And so you can only imagine how many of the 20 million people who came across under Joe Biden were knocked up or got knocked up and had babies here. How many got raped along the way, I'm sure, and had their babies here? Well, in 2023, it was 320,000. So this is not small potatoes. 320,000 instant American citizens. And then you've got that whole birth tourism thing where the Russians love paying top dollar to get pregnant and then have their babies here. How many more will be impacted there, will become instantaneous American citizens? About another 32,000. Almost 400,000 people a year. And that was 3 years ago. Imagine what the numbers are now. That is what's at stake, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, 87% of them end up on welfare. But the good news is after 10 years, that 87% on welfare becomes just 81%. So you get to pay for them forever. That's what your Supreme Court just did. That's what they just handed to Generation Z. I know you can't afford a house. I know that you can't afford health insurance, but you will be paying for all these other people. Congratulations. They did that. Sick. Okay. So Tina Peters, who was a Mesa County, Colorado elections clerk, right? Who downloaded, made a copy of a Dominion voting machine and basically was put in prison because Colorado wanted to cover up their corruption. Well, she reposted a President Trump truth, which is very interesting. And there is a bit in it of this Trump truth that he put out. And he's very purposeful, the president is. He wants you to know he knows damn well what's going on. And it's a message to those who, by the way, are dirty, who should feel the noose tightening around their necks. In this 2-minute clip, I'm going to isolate less than a minute of it. And in it, you're going to hear an elections expert testifying under oath about Dominion voting systems being remotely accessed. I thought they weren't connected to the internet, remember? Oh, well, not only were they, but this expert testifies that in 2020, he personally witnessed a Dominion voting machine be accessed by somebody in Belgrade, Serbia. Really? Listen.
Is Dominion able to remotely connect to these election systems?
Yes.
Are they able to do that without detection?
Yes.
And are you aware of any instances in which that has occurred?
Yes.
Can you identify those instances?
One would be the Denver, Colorado server was granted or requested to grant Belgrade, only Belgrade. I did search. There is a Belgrade, Montana. Again, why would Montana need to connect into a Colorado file transfer server as part of the election system?
For Colorado, that sounds so interesting from this Truth Social that the president put up. Because it just so happens that Colorado is having its primary today, where Democrats have made a complete switch in less than 1 month to reject the establishment senator who just thought he would fail upwards and become the state's governor. Now, this is all on the heels of the Supreme Court. Earlier, they announced that states could count ballots yesterday. States could count ballots as long as they wanted to. It was up to the purview of the states, right? That the Supreme Court did not have a role in that, that as long as the ballots were dated election day, that if it took 3 hours, 5 years, whatever, they could be counted as long as necessary. People went crazy. Trump put out this thing about Dominion in Colorado. We've got Colorado on the mind. Harry Enton is even looking at this. And he's like, look, John Berman, the anchor at CNN, asks Harry about Democrats. He says they're moving a little to the left. Well, that's an understatement. And wow, is there no better example of the Democrat Party's toxicity than there is in the Colorado governor's primary? Listen to in 1 month how this toxic socialism has flip-flopped 2 candidates in the race for Colorado governor.
One of the ways this has manifested itself over the last few weeks is a little bit of a leftward lurch and a rise of progressive Democrats, Democratic Socialists. We have primaries in Colorado tomorrow, and the potential for some surprises there. I should tell people the incumbent Republican Senator Michael Bennet, incumbent Democratic Senator
I know it's so
Michael
difficult
Bennet
because the numbers are so bad.
I was trying to say the R is running for governor there,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people thought that Bennet would go from the Senate to the governor's mansion pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what the thought was. He was leading in all the early polls, but he had a challenger in Phil Weiser, the attorney general in that state. And look at how these odds have changed. Look at how these odds have changed. Michael Bennet, at the beginning of this month, look at this, 82% chance to win according to the Kalshi prediction market. Phil Weiser, just a 21% chance. These numbers have totally flip-flopped. Now it is Phil Weiser who's actually the favorite heading into tomorrow. Michael Bennet, who of course is a longtime senator from the great state of Colorado, is an underdog running for governor. This is how toxic the Democratic brand in Washington, D.C. is, and Chuck Schumer in particular.
50% swing in 4 weeks. Now, with that being said, with the Supreme Court decision on mail-in ballot counting said, Colorado's Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, who fancies herself the next Attorney General of the state, she wants to be the top law enforcement officer in the freaking state of Colorado. Are you kidding me? She is being sued by the RNC. The Republican National Committee filed suit in Denver District State Court against Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, challenging her office's policy of allowing overseas voters who have never set foot in Colorado to cast ballots in state elections. How is that allowed? This is almost like the Supreme Court was like, you guys got to flush out how dirty things have gotten. That's not up to the court. That's on you. Well, the RNC took that advice, filed just 4 days before Colorado's primary election Friday. This is the primary is today. The suit argues Griswold's implementation of the state's overseas voter law runs headlong into the Colorado Constitution's residency requirement. Griswold also happens to be a candidate for Colorado Attorney General today. Residency is not inherited. It cannot be established by proxy, the complaint reads. An individual who has never personally made Colorado his or her home has not resided in this state within the meaning of Article 7 of Colorado's Constitution. Griswold's office claims this is the Secretary of freaking State. This is the woman in charge of their elections. Right? This is the state that threw Tina Peters in prison because they wanted the scale of their corruption under wraps. Griswold's office claims if you're a United States citizen who's never lived in the United States, you can register to vote in Colorado if your parent, legal guardian, spouse, or domestic partner was a resident of Colorado before leaving the United States. Wow. See, this is the stuff that's going to get flushed out because of that 6-3 decision that dropped about 3 hours ago. This is the stuff that needs to be exposed that will infuriate the electorate. And I'm going to put all my marbles in, regardless of their political proclivities. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Jenna Griswold is a scumbag. I guess she needs people who don't really exist, who've never lived in Colorado to vote for her. It's neat, isn't it? See how that works? Well, a huge funder for the activist left is now under investigation. Shut up. I thought they were against kings and billionaires. Too bad they're funding them. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. We are going to have so much exciting stuff to talk about in kind of a scary way. The more this Affordable Care Act, Obamacare marketplace collapses, and it's collapsing. It's collapsing. The more people bail from it because they can't afford it. Like the guy from Cape Cod who's like, I'm sick to death. I have no more F's to give. I'm tired of paying other people's health coverage when I can't afford my own. Right? This is where Health Revolution comes in. info.healthrevolution.net. This allows you to set your own insurance rate. Literally, you make your policy. What do you want coverage for? Just catastrophic coverage? What do you want? Do you want obstetrics, maternity coverage? Are you sick? Do you have allergies? Are there issues? Do you want to be able to see your own doctor? You choose the doctors. No co-payments and premiums that are 30 to 60% less than what you're currently paying. It's like, tell me how this is bad. 800-868-6187. It's not. All you need to do is call or go online and talk to one of these people. The folks at Health Revolution want to help you. They want to get you covered, and they don't want you to get bent over for it. info.healthrevolution.net. Got to be under 65, relatively good health. This is for you. Why are you paying for maternity coverage if you're a man? I don't know. It's one of those things that make you go,
You have to be able to define a man.
Well, that's true. You need to stop it. You can't tell me that. That's true, though. Okay, Chef IQ. Good. You know, how extreme does MAGA seem now? What are we extremely into? I'm extremely into this Great American World Fair, whatever it is. I haven't even followed it that much. I'm into anything that's star-spangled celebration of the weekend. I'm up for fireworks. I'm up for barbecue. I'm up for loving this country. I'm up for flying my American flag. We got a story coming up about homeowners who are not allowed to fly their American flag, or they will be fined. And wait until you find out why. The toxicity and the insanity of the left have become so unpalatable. Nobody wants to cook with those ingredients anymore. It's just not worth it because nobody wants to eat the finished product. It's gross. You can be in your tent all you want. Just stay there. We'll zip it closed. It's so mean. Oh, you guys are going to recognize this name. Let's see how you guys are doing. They're doing great. Stop it.
1/4, you'll have to go with me to Dr. Mike's party.
Aw.
He sets off fireworks.
I would just want to go to be with Dr. Mike and Slade, his cutie bug son. Major cougar action going on over here.
What? Wow.
He's so cute. Can you see me doing that?
No.
No. I'd be like, I don't like bad people. I've decided. How about you guys? This is interesting. A lot of these money trails for the Democrats are getting investigated. They're gonna close up like USAID, like Act Blue. Mm-hmm. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, for as much as the left, particularly the far left, fringe, progressive, socialist, communist left, as much as they like to criticize billionaires and millionaires, as much as they like to make them, next to President Trump, the whipping boys of their ire, and then we could solve all of the world's problems if they just paid their fair share. We're going to tax them, says Gavin Newsom. We're going to go after them, says Zoran Mamdani, and the brain-dead sycophants in the crowd. Yay! Wearing their Luigi Mangione shirts. Yay! I love this. Well, about that, it's interesting how the Democrats are the ones who are funded by the billionaires, the Reid Hoffmans, the George Soroses, right? The, what's his face? Bill Gates of the world. And now, of course, you've got your Neville Singham guy, Neville Roy Singham. We've danced around this billionaire for a while. But apparently the walls are coming down on this one. Are you familiar with the name Hassan Piker? Hassan Piker is a far-left political influencer, at least according to this article at Fox News. And he apparently, Hassan Piker did, identified American Marxist tech tycoon Neville Roy Singham as a major financier behind a network of pro-communist U.S. nonprofits engaged in political advocacy and a lot of political movements, marking his first public acknowledgement, or the first public acknowledgement, from a figure inside the far-left network that organizes in the Singham network are operating with an explicitly political agenda. What? You mean all of these billionaires that are funding the indivisible rallies that get together on group chats, Blue Sky, or whatever the hell they're on these days? Meet at the corner of 5th and Broadway. Look in the bushes. There's bricks there, right? Oh, we're going to go. And we're going to pay all these people to show up and create this illusion of malcontent. Right? And all of these old people who are completely not the demographics that one would expect with protesters. They're going to show up because being a professional agitator pays a lot better than working in Walmart and standing on your feet for 8 hours a day as a greeter. Well, this Neville Roy Singham apparently has not been outed as publicly as this. The comments are significant because congressional investigators and watchdog groups have long argued that nonprofits connected to Singham are functioning as overt political operations while enjoying tax-exempt charitable status. We are not going to charge you for being here. You're such good people. As you're working to fund domestic terrorism in our cities and our streets, you go have fun storming the castle. Like, in what world does that make sense? Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control issued an administrative subpoena to Hassan Piker, who said these things, and to far-left Code Pink co-founder Susan Medea Benjamin for possibly violating sanctions against doing business with the Communist Party of freaking Cuba when they traveled to the island nation in March for an ideologically charged transnational convergence of communists. These people are all among us. You know what they don't do? They don't fly the American flag. They don't stop and consider what the 4th of July is. They're not interested in making your neighborhoods better. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about anything except fomenting a civil war that doesn't exist. If you were to remove the nasty billionaires who fund these domestic terror operations, if you were to remove the media, mainly, I doubt we would have this feeling of such division in this country. Because the clowns who are the ones marching off the left cliff, they are the minority. We are the majority. Conservatives and a hell of a lot of Democrats, too, with common sense ideas. If you were to not hear for a week anything from the media, would your life be impacted? Yeah. It would be happier. You wouldn't wake up angry. Maybe we wouldn't look at each other with suspicion. Because what they need is you pissed and you fighting and us feuding in some imaginary battle that provides just the smokescreen coverage they need to continue being disgusting and destroy the country. Yeah, I don't think so. So Neville Roy Singham, I always want to call him Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter. If you're a Singham guy, if you're a billionaire who's trying to make madness in these United States, good luck with that. We're so tired of you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, kind of feels like Fauci could go down. Seriously. It would not have been on my bingo card yesterday, but what I heard Senator Rand Paul tell Maria Bartiromo last night, I was like, oh, snap, it's on. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Neville Roy Sengham, a guy involved with Cuba, a guy who plays footsies with China. You know, Code Pink is his wife. What could go wrong? All of these stupid activist groups. It's such a shame. It's so obvious, isn't it? Ghost bed. No, I don't know if I have ghost bed this week. Excuse me. I don't. You can go. You're fine. I'm not going to say anything that's going to fudge you up. I just fudged myself up, but I'm not going to fudge you up. Let me see. What was I doing? Oh, no, I just did Chef IQ, so I'm good. Okay. Isn't it so funny how the people who are like, we need to go after the billionaires, those the billionaires are funding them. Like, what do you do that is ever good for anybody? I don't know. Anybody? Bueller? All right, let me tell you about Blood Flow 7. And to the person who was like, this is like a paid infomercial. You clearly haven't tried Blood Flow 7. I subscribe. I get this every month. I get it for Brock and for me. And I will tell you the amount of labor that we did in his backyard. We moved 2 tons of dirt, 1 shovel at a time, 1 wheelbarrow dragged out at a time. He dragged the wheelbarrow. I did the shoveling. And we did it for about 5 hours. I don't think you do that on a hot summer day at the age of 56 without a little Blood Flow 7. Nitric oxide is the secret sauce. This has completely changed my world. I will tell you, not only do I sleep phenomenally well at night, I'm alert all day. I don't hit the wall ever. I'm completely locked in when I'm working out. I don't peter out. And if you've ever seen, you see those bikes that like the NFL players, like the quarterbacks, they're out of the game and they'll sit on that bike on the sidelines. It's called an Airdyne. It's a satanic device. It sucks. Okay. You can crank up the, I had such a struggle even getting through a minute of that because my trainer would want it at a certain clip. I would pass out, literally be on the ground. Now I hop on it and I'm like, I get off and I huff and puff a little bit, but I don't want to die because of the air. This bloodflow7.com/Wendy, 30% off everything in the store. If you go there, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Right? Let's see what you guys are up to. Ooh, 1.79 rumbles. Thank you. We're getting there.
$10.
Huh? Somebody gave us $10. Hey, ACR1. All visas need to be denied or revoked, and ICE needs to focus on deporting all females of childbearing age until an amendment that ends birthright citizenship is in effect. Huh. That's a curious proposition there, don't you think? It's kind of different. What do you guys think? Give me I'd like to know what your thoughts are in the comments section. Do you have a dire view of the High Court's ruling on birthright citizenship, or do you see that there is perhaps a door that's been opened? I haven't found what Kavanaugh wrote. That could be very exciting to find. Kavanaugh decision, birthright citizenship. Let's see what it says, because I'd love to hear what he says, because that's what prompted Schmidt to write that thing. Okay, turn helps. Waiting. Here we go. Justice Brett Kavanaugh seems skeptical of Trump's birthright citizenship order. During the arguments, he focused on the practical problems of ending birthright citizenship and questioned the administration's theory, saying that if the court accepted the longstanding 1898 interpretation, then you win, which suggested the administration's legal argument was weak. That doesn't mean anything to me. Even though some earlier discussion in the case centered on procedural questions like nationwide injunctions. That's it. Okay. So sometimes in their dissent, they do open up a door that enough people who pay attention to SCOTUS blog and whatnot can see as being like, And they'll even say, we can't grant it on this grounds. If only you had done blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then they're like, oh.
If Eric Schmidt was not the only one that I saw some guy say that on Twitter or X, say something similar to that yesterday about the ruling today.
I wasn't able to.
That this isn't the end.
No, I don't think it is. I think we're just going to have to force the Senate to show up and do its effing job.
Good luck.
But I think you're going to see a mass upheaval and a removal of a bunch of people who are Democrats.
I think you'll see
from
the SAVE
Congress,
Act passed.
And you're going to have to get rid of Republicans too. You're going to have to pass the SAVE Act. Yeah. They're going to have to do a talking filibuster. There's going to have to be an outcry. John Thune's going to have to get his head out of his butt and do one of something and basically prove to us that he is nothing but a puppet of the uniparty. How the Senate doesn't speak up against him and replace him is beyond me. But I'm sure there's political peril with that. I don't know. I'd be back. I do. I remember going to my kids' 8th grade basketball game. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So this is 5 years ago. My youngest sons, twins, in the throes of COVID. And this was a good setup because it was a Catholic school. This wasn't your public school where everybody was going haywire. Oh my God. Where we're zipping kids into, remember those plastic condoms they were having band practice in? I mean, literally the insanity of people who are either stupid or just easily frightened. I mean, it's just crazy when you look back. But they wanted the kids to play basketball wearing masks. In what world did that make sense? Here, Ron, breathe really hard. Breathe in your own filth again and again through this dirty facial diaper and then pretend that you're doing a good job because it's for the greater good. It was the dumbest crap ever. And I remember walking into the school gym as everybody was like huddled by themselves without a mask on. And I'm like, oh, shut up. You guys are going to look back on this and you're going to feel so silly. And the number of doctors, parents who were sitting on the benches, petrified. Really? So do you remember? No. Better question is, will you ever forget? Because I won't. And I can tell you right now, my 5 sons won't. They were all in some different slice of suck at the time. I had 2 in college, 1 in high school, 2 in middle school, and it was a debacle. Never again. But you know what? Dr. Death doesn't get to bounce with a pass on this one. And I don't know what the punishment is for being a diabolical face of evil, for being responsible for what, 10 or 15 to 25 million deaths, for lying about it, allowing yourself to be elevated and made into some kind of a hero over it. People were burning St. Fauci candles, okay? Tony Fauci was on more magazine covers than the supermodel wife of Donald Trump, okay? That's how stupid people are. And those of us living in the common sense realm, we're just mystified every day. Do you ever look in the mirror? You're literally going to make your mother-in-law take a COVID test and stand in the garage before you welcome her into your house for Thanksgiving. Remember when they told you you're not allowed to hug people? Well, you can have people over. 6 foot of social distancing, right? Whatever you do, don't do that whole touch thing. That is the basis of the human connection. Be distrusting of everybody, and before anything else, be afraid. In what world? Rand Paul was on with Maria Bartiromo, and he's like, look, we've had these hearings, and Dr. Doom Fauci's had to come in and testify, and he's lied to us multiple times. And over the course of these painstaking sit downs, which seem to produce no fruit, we have a curious paper trail. And it is from that I encourage the DOJ to criminally prosecute Dr. Anthony Fauci. I want to read you a couple paragraphs, and I want you to hear it for himself. It's 2 minutes, and we broke it up into 5 pieces, because if you just hear it all at once, you're like, yeah, whatever. But when you hear it broken, you're like, what did he just say? So Senator Rand Paul says Dr. Anthony Fauci's power abuse has, quote, nothing on J. Edgar Hoover with COVID cover-up. Senator Rand Paul accused Dr. Anthony Fauci of abusing his power during a 40-year career in government, to the extent that even notorious FBI boss J. Edgar Hoover has nothing on the ex-National Institutes of Health official. Paul told the Post's Miranda Devine in an interview with Podforce One, released Wednesday, that the former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director had exerted a powerful influence for decades on U.S. funded research. But whistleblower testimony and internal government emails related to the COVID-19 pandemic have since revealed the degree to which Fauci also involved himself in the publication of controversial articles in scientific journals about SARS-CoV-2 and influenced U.S. intelligence assessments about its origins. People talk about J. Edgar Hoover, Paul said. J. Edgar Hoover had nothing on Anthony Fauci, 40 years of placing all his lieutenants in all the positions. And then after 9/11, the funding for bio research and bioterrorism went through the roof, and he became the kingpin that had access to all of that money. Fauci's testified in congressional hearings about holding a pretty high-level security clearance since 2004 when he was helping to set up a U.S. biodefense freaking program in the wake of anthrax attacks. He also told Congress that he has broad authority to sign off on thousands of federal grants annually for research when serving as NIAID director for 40 years. Right? Let's hear what Rand Paul says to Maria Bartiromo. He's like, you know what? Dude is dark. He is responsible. His fingerprints are on everything. And just the first 10 seconds, I wanted to isolate so you could hear the senator from Kentucky say this.
Well, the investigation of COVID origins has been going on for several years. The Biden administration stymied us and wouldn't give us any of the documents. The Trump administration has been very cooperative, particularly Secretary Kennedy. They've turned over virtually everything.
Why is that? Isn't the left clamoring for release of the Epstein files? They're hiding something. Trump's like, oh, for heaven's sakes, disclose it all, drop it all, give them everything. And yet the Biden administration won't give any of the papers, the documents, the paper trail of COVID to the senator or any of his cohorts in Congress. Why? Because they're guilty. Because they're complicit, because they knew better. Do you think any of those people actually got that quote unquote vaccine? I guarantee you not. But you had to. Senator Paul continues, this global pandemic started because of Tony Fauci. Wow. Wow.
The Trump administration has been very cooperative, particularly Secretary Kennedy. They've turned over virtually everything. And what we now know beyond a reasonable doubt is that Anthony Fauci did indeed fund gain-of-function research. We have the evidence that the experiments were gaining in function. The viruses were becoming more lethal, more attachable to human cells, and more infectious. We do know that this was going on, that was funded by the NIH, specifically under the tutelage of Anthony Fauci.
He was the most highly paid federal employee. They gave him a freaking throne and put a crown on his head. And then you needed the media, of course, to cover up the real story and to exalt Dr. Death the way they did. Isn't it so interesting? It's sort of like how they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop story. Kind of like that. Rand Paul continues, Dr. Science somehow convinced a whole team at the CIA to completely change their analysis, to say that it didn't come from a lab, which everybody in the world knows it came from a lab. Even moron, abject nincompoop Chris Cuomo was like, wow, so you mean to tell us that it came from a wet market that just so happens to be right down the street from this lab where they do this kind of dangerous stuff? That's so weird. Is that a coincidence? No, Chris. Of course not. And he says, you know what? Rand Paul says, of course it didn't come from the lab. His fingerprints were all over the place, Fauci's were.
We know all of that, but we know even more now. We know that the initial estimate by the scientists at the CIA was that this came from the lab. They agreed with our supposition. But Anthony Fauci was able to coerce, cajole, persuade, and dangle money to get people in the intelligence community to change their vote. So a scientific commission within the CIA voted 6-1 to say it came from the lab. He somehow was able to get that change. We have evidence of that happening.
It's amazing how I talk so commonly about the blackmail and bribery apparatus that is Capitol Hill. It's like the firm. You get hired, i.e., you're appointed, anointed, installed as a congressperson or a senator. You don't think everything's bugged in your house. You don't think they have video all over you. You don't think they're luring you with honeypots, luring you with drugs and parties so they can build up a case against you so that you have your own docket. So when it comes down to needing pivotal allegiance, well, there you are. It was a pay-to-play scheme that cost millions of people their lives. A Dr. Frankenstein example of the bribery and the blackmail that rules the swamp.
The virologists that he handpicked that were big recipients of federal dollars, all of them initially were saying it looks like it was manipulated. The virus looks manipulated. He was able to convince them otherwise. We now have evidence that in January of 2020, that he was already acknowledging that the virus did not come from the wet market, that the wet market was a spreader event, but wasn't an initial event because we had lineages of people way before the wet market that were getting sick. Everyone acknowledged that, but for years he's been telling us it came from animals at the wet market.
Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about. This is as maddening and the slow walk of what everybody realizes as the whole transgender thing. Wait, you mean to tell me that somebody with a penis and an Adam's apple isn't the same thing as a woman with a vagina? I know it's shocking. I've never noticed the difference before. Why should they not play on the same teams again? It's taken this long to get to the Supreme Court, for the Supreme Court to be like, yeah, let girls be girls and boys be boys, right? But we've got it for 5 freaking years, litigate what everybody knows. And if you don't know what a conspiracy is or what it looks like, well, says Senator Paul, now you do.
This was all misdirection. This was a conspiracy. This was a cover-up. And he has not really gotten his just desserts on this. And we want to make sure that the American public and that history records that he was involved with funding this dangerous research that led to a pandemic that killed 15 million people. There needs to be repercussions.
And conspiracy. It is so weird that Dr. Death's pardon that he requested goes all the way back to the first day of January 2014. I'm sure it's all just a weird coincidence. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, some Democrats are super duperly not getting the message. So as the left moves further away from the Schumers and the Jeffries of the party, and they go all out crazy extreme, the University of California at Berkeley is living in a time capsule. Did you hear about the Nancy Pelosi new institute for like independence and democracy? Oh my goodness. It's worth it. You're going to get some smile on your face next. It's so dumb. You're like, you've got to be kidding me. No, we're not kidding you. All right, let's talk about Drink LTV. I had no idea that your liver could be dehydrated. But it's actually kind of interesting. If you're like I am, and maybe you've gotten to that age where you're kind of tired often and you feel bloated after every meal, like kind of unreasonably bloated. Not like you overate, but like you're, wow, I feel uncomfortable. And no amount of water seems to help. I want you to listen to this because there is a physician out there who says these are the telltale signs of a dehydrated liver. Not dehydrated like I need to drink more water, but most people think hydration is that. It's just about H2O, right? Your liver is your body's main hydration organ. And if your liver cells are not getting water at the cellular level, it doesn't matter how many glasses you drink a day, the water just kind of runs right through you. And when your liver is dehydrated, so much of you suffers. Your energy tanks, your digestion slows down, you bloat, you hold on to stubborn weight, right? How many people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that's all me. And your skin can look dull. You can look at your reflection and be like, what is wrong with me? Right? Well, this could be a problem for you, but this is why this LTV, drinkltv.com. It's hydration and liver support. It's electrolyte and herbal blend. And I'm going to tell you what it has in it. Okay. Let's see. Electrolytes, clinical dose electrolytes. So Gatorade, but actually getting down to the cellular level. And they add taurine to it to help your cells actually get it and absorb the water. Plus milk thistle and dandelion root to support your liver's natural detox function. It's natural. This isn't pharma. This isn't something that you can't pronounce. It's something that obviously there's a great appetite for because they've sold a ton of this. This is what it looks like. It comes in like a lemon lime flavor. LTV, put it in water right now. 64, you can get up to 64% off of this for a limited time. It's called Drink LTV. Drink, and that stands for Lifetime Vitality. drinkltv.com/Wendy. And you'll get the up to 64% discount. Hydration boost and liver support. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 calories. Hey, just another thing to consider. It's not going to be for everybody, but if you're bloated and you cannot lose weight and you feel like a big lump, could be you, babe. Could be you.
It is 91 degrees already.
Paul wants Joe and me to go into Stinky's tonight since Jack is working. Our son Jack got a job at Stinky's, our favorite bar and grill here in Pittsburgh. And he's working as a bartender. And today is day 3. And I didn't want to go lurk and be mom. But Jack even said, do you want to come in and have dinner tonight?
I'm not going to say anything.
You're more than welcome to come. You're more than welcome to come. More than welcome to come. More the merrier to rip on my son, who's extraordinarily, he's got a photographic memory, which is probably going to annoy a lot of people. Right? God did not gift me with that.
Are you buying the drinks?
It could be a team building exercise. You never know.
I might have to make it then.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Nancy Pelosi sure got out at the right time, didn't she? She and her cud-chewing dentures and her pterodactyl hands ripping up the State of the Union like a witch. She wasn't always evil, was she? I'm telling you what, age, time, darkness kind of eats you out from the inside. Take a look at some of these people. Not looking so good. No matter. UC Berkeley is falling all over her. They're going to give her something pretty special here. Did you hear this? UC Berkeley, as Democrats are moving away from the Schumers and the Jeffries of the party And they decided to go all extreme because, oh, by the way, it was those Democrats that jacked up the cost of everything and then came in like the firefighter arsonist and they're like, vote for us, we'll lower prices. Said no Democrat ever, nor did they deliver. Cal Berkeley is living in a time capsule, starting something very exciting that surely will bring us all together. In fact, they created a little public service announcement, little video teaser for you. I think you're really going to like this. Let's listen in.
Today is a very exciting day for me because today is the day Berkeley will be announcing the Nancy Pelosi Institute for Representative Democracy. My excitement about this springs from the fact that this will be totally nonpartisan. That's its value.
It is the right time and the right place to think about this Nancy Pelosi Institute for Representative Democracy, and Berkeley's public. And representative democracy is about the public, the people, all the people. Berkeley is a quintessential American university. When we think about its entrepreneurial spirit, this is a university that produces more startups than any other university. The freedom to teach, the freedom of expression. This public university is very representative of that. We're going to research democracy. Obviously, research is an important part of this institute, but we need to do more than that. We're literally going to strengthen it, and that's the goal. Nancy will be teaching here, so it is a new manifestation, and the institute will benefit from it.
When people ask me what gives you hope, my hope is with young people. The future belongs to them. It is what this is about. This is why I want to be here at Berkeley. One country, one destiny. That was what was embroidered in Abraham Lincoln's jacket, so we have a big responsibility to honor the vision of our founders. Democratic, just for the people.
Wow. Isn't that gross? Who needs a shower? I need my loofah.
Who needs a bartending class from Nancy Pelosi?
Holy freaking cannoli. We're a representative democracy. All the people, except those who went to the Capitol on January 6th because they knew that 2020 election was no good. They witnessed it, ladies and gentlemen. Many of them had gone and signed and had notarized affidavits swearing to the shenanigans of theft and malfeasance on November 3rd, 2020. And what happened? They went to the Capitol, as one is supposed to do under the Constitution, and asked for redress. They asked their representatives, don't certify. Do not you dare certify that election until you hear what we have to say. Oh, snap. Fire some bullets, rubber bullets and smoke grenades at people. Start an insurrection. Push everybody, right? Get them fighting. It's an insurrection. This is great. Oh, my gosh. Let's certify. January 6th. It was all a setup. Nancy Pelosi. They just named some stupid center after her. The Institute for a Representative Democracy. The same Nancy Pelosi who ran the January 6th circus. Who turned Congress into a stock trading casino. Who has more scandals than most politicians have excuses. This isn't strengthening democracy. It's celebrating everything wrong with it. This is pure swamp theater. Oh, and we're going to bequeath this great honor to you, Nancy. How much do you think Paul and his vibrating hammer had to give to it?
I was going to say, is this the new book deal?
This, you know what?
She's going to get a salary from the school.
She's going to teach like Joe Biden did at the University of Pennsylvania.
They'll have.
Remember, I was a professor. And
so an
like,
hour and a half class will have an ice cream break, social, and a drink break.
No. What they're going to do is they're going to have a petition signing ceremony where everybody can, with a squiggle, sign provisional ballots, mail-in votes for everything, and just send those in.
One of the first lessons will be like from Dead Poets Society, where they ripped the first Republican word page out of the book.
Oh, Nance, who can't keep her teeth in and stand up straight. Look, 84 is older. It's okay. Please. What a grift. Apparently, we did catch on to the New York Times best-selling book deal scam that every nincompoop and his brother, like morons, are New York Times best-selling authors now. Now, apparently, they just make you some, I don't know, Institute for Representative Democracy. There you go, friends. Hey, so here's a question for you. Did the U.S.-hosted World Cup honestly just start a war in Europe? Because I think it did. And it's very important. Great last hour of the show. Favorite of the week so far. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Isn't that ridiculous? We're going to have such a great time. We're going to rewrite the history books and we're going to burn everything.
She'll have sponsors for that class.
AARP?
AARP, Tito's.
What's the denture cream?
Yeah.
And no offense, Polydent. Remember how she would sit back there?
What's that ice cream that she eats?
Oh, the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Maybe her daughter will sponsor her, you know, in her film, you know.
Oh, well, I'm sure she'll have a documentary on what it's like to teach
yeah.
at UC Berkeley.
Meanwhile, you know, in the picture of her walking that there's some guy in the wings who's ready to jump in and give her a hand. Like, whatever. But it's another reason not to go to Berkeley. You couldn't pay. You know
classes
what?
Paul's going to teach.
If one of my kids got into Berkeley, and they didn't, and they wanted to go, what a pickle. Right? Because I'd be like,
That's
wow.
just, you ain't going.
Right.
I ain't releasing the 529 funds.
Mm-mm. So, I don't know. Let's see what we got going on here. Lots of construction going on. We have lots of trees going on in my neighborhood. My neighbor just is taking out 4 trees yesterday and today. It's so sad. And it's like every 100+ years, these beautiful, majestic oaks, they die. And it's like, or 150 years. And it's like a bunch of them in the neighborhood have just gone down. And it's such a drag. But I also see a lot of people, a lot of roofing companies, a lot of outfits I've never heard of before. And some of them are getting kind of aggressive with the door knocking campaign. And they just kind of knock on your door. And if you're a fool who answers, they'll be like, oh, we're going to fly a drone over your house and give you all this footage of what is going on. I enjoyed dealing with Gary Ireland at Ireland Contracting. It was going to be an expensive thing to do. I knew it had to be done. But thank God, because our biblical rain on Sunday, holy Moses, was it crazy? I was not on pins and needles and I had peace of mind. That's kind of what it is. It's peace of mind and knowing that you're not getting bent over from a company because they do decks, they do windows, they do siding, they do roofing, they put in new front doors. They do everything at Ireland Contracting. So if you're in Southwestern land before time, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com.
Paul will probably teach finance classes. Paul Pelosi.
Yeah. You think so? He's going to teach classes on how you can knock something from the outside.
Breaking and entering.
And have all of the glass be on the outside.
There'll be a PR class on how
B&E.
How to spin.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband getting hit in the head with a vibrating hammer.
How to answer the door in a long sleeve dress shirt and boxers.
In underwear, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then to walk around with a bandage on your head, sort of like Jamie Raskin's do-rag. You know, it seems like I'm so cynical. And I am, you're right. GLP-1 Gold. Guys, let me get this out there for you. So a friend of mine has lost about 70 pounds on the, I think she's on Mounjaro, one of the weight loss drugs. And I was asking her, she's now down to a below level that she was normally. So she went from like 195 to 140 and looked phenomenal. And now it's like 115. And it's just like, you look like you have cancer. You look like you're sick. And so my first inclination is like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I am. But if I go off of this, I gain 10 pounds in like 5 days. And so if I go off of my shots, I can't. So I was asking her, I'm like, so can you ever then go off of the shot? And she's like, nope. Every week I have to take it. I'm like, for the rest of your life? And she's like, yeah. Now, we don't know enough. I'm sorry, but we are not far enough at all from COVID and all of that nonsense for me to roll up my sleeve and get any syringe anywhere near my body, right? And if you're similar or you don't have the money to spend and it's not really your jam, but you need help and you want to lose significant weight, go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. bloodflow7.com/Wendy and get the GLP-1 Gold. It's a buck a day. It's a buck a day. There's not some weird ingredients in here that are going to have you growing a second head. You're not going to have weird side effects. There are reviews out the wazoo. Talk to your doctor. Look at the ingredients. See if it's something for you. It's another thing that you can do as a dietary supplement to squash your appetite. This is for serious weight loss. This isn't just like 7 or 8 pounds. This is like 40, 80, 100 pounds. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. What's going on? We have anything happening? Anything new?
Paul didn't invite me to Stinkies. I'm a little hurt.
Well, it's not like he invited. He was saying to Jack, do you think your folks want to come in? And he's like, And I said to Jack, I'm like, I don't really want to make you feel weird. He's like, why would I feel weird? And I'm like, oh.
I'd ask him to make some crazy drink. Masturbating, what is it? Grasshopper.
A masturbating grasshopper?
There's a drink out there called that. Yeah.
No, there isn't.
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Someone asked me to make one.
What's in it?
And I was like, negative.
What's in it?
I have no idea. I didn't even look it up.
Sounds gross.
Sounds gross. Like, yeah, it sounds gross. I'm not going to make it.
Have you guys fallen for any of this World Cup stuff? I haven't. I've watched it cursorily. My sons and Joe have. And oh my gosh, is this a glorious event? Not just for America and not just for these cities, but for these countries and people who've never been to America. I got so sucked into it last night. And I spent probably an hour and a half watching videos of not even the games, but the fans and the community and host cities. And it's off the grid. I love it. But there's a little war going on. And America is probably the one that started it. Got to be honest with you. And I'll explain it to you in a minute.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in New York for his alleged hush money payment.
A grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump on state charges stemming from his efforts to overturn Joe Biden's victory.
Breaking news, the federal indictment against Donald Trump, all related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
And they're not taking this White House. We're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now.
It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. If you have not followed, and we're really going to get into it in the second half hour of this segment, of this 1 hour program. And it's super sweet. If you want to see people who've never been to America have a response about what it's like to be here, beyond the burgers and ranch dressing and Chick-fil-A and big gulp drinks, You got to go through social media and see some stuff because it's truly beautiful. Really, some neat stuff that completely defies all of the garbage that the media have said about this World Cup, which, by the way, President Trump fought for and won back in 2018. And think for a minute. If he had been allowed to win that 2020 election, what would not be happening in America today? There would be no 250th celebration. There'd be somebody else in charge, right? He wouldn't be able to have America open its doors to foreign travelers from around the world. He would have already served. His term would have been over. And yet, how some way this happened, and 8 years later, here we are. Well, did you guys know how many Europeans die every year because of the heat? I didn't realize this. I had no idea that air conditioning was such a thing. That it's not a thing in Europe. It's a thing for the rich, for the elite, for the political class. But the commoners who pay all the bills, people like you, people like me, well, you don't get it. And in fact, you're not allowed to get it because the green climate police will come to your house and drag you away. And if you think I'm being silly, check me out on that. The moment you realize when the actual kings of the world are causing more Europeans to die from heat exhaustion than Americans are killed by gun violence every year. Did you know that? That there are between 40,000 and 60,000 people who die in Europe every year because of the heat. What? Expand that to include the broader World Health Organization European region, and the estimate explodes. 175,000 heat-related deaths per year on average. Compare that to the roughly 46,000 Americans who are killed every year because of gun violence. Well, the Europeans who've come over here to experience the World Cup, be it in Kansas or Boston or Los Angeles, well, I think we kind of started a war with them over this air conditioning. Tyler Durden from the website Zero Hedge has a great article, and I've got some clips from some European visitors that are great. The World Cup has triggered one of the most surprising global cultural awakenings in decades, and almost nobody saw it coming. The establishment media had been running negative propaganda for months, claiming that the event was going to be a disaster because it was being held in the U.S. The machine had already decided that the World Cup in 2026 was going to be sold as a disaster from start to finish. So why even go? Rumors were spinning that because Americans don't care about soccer, that the tournament would be mismanaged, that America was racist, the players would be treated poorly, and that the U.S. is such a dangerous place it would deter travelers from going overseas to attend the games. This anti-American sentiment being generated by Western journalists is staggering. However, all it took was a few weeks and around 1.2 million foreign visitors per city coming to see the World Cup at the same time. And now suddenly, Europeans have realized that they've been lied to about everything. The U.S.-hosted event is now being called one of the most successful in World Cup history. The propaganda spell has been broken. Europeans are going on social media to apologize for their hate that their countrymen have been dumping on the U.S. over the years. And most importantly, they've discovered air conditioning. Strangely, it's not American gun rights that are sparking mass debate. Rather, it is the air conditioning issue that's causing the most friction with political leaders back in Europe, and the elites ain't happy about it. Americans have trouble understanding the angst. Only 19% of all Europeans have air conditioning in their homes, compared to 90% of people here in America. In Britain, 14% of people have cold indoor air. In France, it's 25. Germany, it's 19. Keep in mind, these are high rates compared to only 10 years ago. Europe's love affair with air conditioning is a very recent phenomenon. They've been burning up in silence for decades. But now, travelers visiting America are wondering why a technology created in 1902 is not more common in their home nations. And they're starting to ask questions, and they're finding out that their own governments simply don't want them to have it. In other words, Air conditioning is a luxury for politicians and the wealthy, not for the peasants. How else can the West save the world from climate change? France has banned drinking alcohol in public to counter dehydration. Residents are stampeding stores and fighting each other for fans and the few air conditioning units they can find. EU leaders are facing increasing demands for a re-examination of the stupid net zero policies. The French environment minister says she is horrified by the rising calls for air conditioning, suggesting that the peons need to worry less about the heat and more about global warming, if that makes sense. The debate is being presented as a matter of selfishness on the part of common citizens who want to stay cool. And speaking of that, I got a couple audio clips for you here. Here's a French man who's walking down the street in some city. I don't know which American city it is, but he says he knows now why America is in fact great.
I have found out why America is so great. And it is one thing and one thing only. Air conditioning. It is the greatest thing I have ever experienced. It is hotter than Satan's butt crack out here. But what makes it bearable is the air conditioning. I believe you need to add a verse to your national anthem that talks about air conditioning. Americans are only scared of one thing, and that is being hot. But I love it. I love it. Is it something you have against being hot? Because the air conditioning, the ice in everything.
They marvel over the ice that you get a cup and it's huge and it's packed with ice. Can't get ice. I mean, think about it. Here's a fan from the UK who walks from the outside of one of these football venues onto the inside into the arena where he's watching one of the matches, and he literally freaks out. I want to feel it, he says. Listen.
This is roasting. 35 degrees Celsius. I've taken all my pictures outside, and I'm like, I just need to find me some shade. And I just want to experience what it's going to feel like to actually walk into the stadium, to feel the air conditioned. Oh, this is glorious. Absolutely glorious. It's like stepping into a fridge. Living the dream. I can feel myself rapidly cooling down. Ah, this is what dreams are made of.
This is what dreams are made of. This is what you and I take for granted every day. And finally, here's a gentleman who's like, this is freaking crazy. The air is actually cold inside. I've never experienced this.
The craziest thing here in America. So it's blazing hot outside. But look at this. I'm going to step into this establishment and it's chilly. It's hot outside, but when you step in, it's like a winter's day.
It's remarkable, but it's interesting because in response to this revelation that not only has the Western media been lying to the rest of the world about how much America sucks and how much this World Cup is going to be a disaster, these people are now wanting air conditioning too. And in response, governments across Europe are cracking down even more on air conditioning in order to send a message. The EU Commission is shutting down air conditioning in their Brussels HQ to set an example, but only for the bottom 7 floors where all the lower wage employees work. Top floors where the important people are still get cold air. In Britain, local councils are being instructed to force residents to remove air conditioning appliances from their homes or face fines. And they assert that the devices create too much carbon emissions and should only be used as a last resort. Look, all I can say is somehow, some way, those people across the pond in the UK convinced the English people to give up their firearms. And now they're sweating their ears off too. It's mutiny. It will be war. Anyway, I thought that was super interesting. Now, wait, when we come back, this is something you guys have got to hear about because it's a man who wanted to put up a flag and tell his little what are they called? HOA. One of those communities came by and like, you know what? You can't put up your American flag, brother. You're going to get fined, and wait until you hear why. What? Next. I mean, you literally can't make it up. So all of these people, and the next segment is going to be about these European visitors who've literally been adopted by American cities. And one in particular is Lawrence, Kansas, home of the University of Kansas. And Lawrence isn't a big city. It's not dissimilar to, I would say, Columbia, Missouri, where I went to graduate school. Roughly 100,000 people, right? Salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. You're talking, I mean, some of my greatest years were living in Missouri, whether it be Columbia at Mizzou or in Kansas City, where I was writing my master's thesis. Salt of the earth, nicest people. But they rolled out the red carpet when the Algerian football team, these soccer players, chose Lawrence, Kansas as their home domicile, their base for the World Cup. And they've flown all over America playing their games. But Lawrence, Kansas is their HQ. And it is the cutest story about America and about the goodness and the kindness of the American people. It's just not complicated. Democrats and the media want you to think it is, but it's not. We know this. HealthyCell.com. I talk about Healthy Cell because, and you know what? I forgot to take it today. Oh my goodness. This is the one
Maybe that's why you're so hostile at the beginning.
I don't know if I was hostile. I've been taking this one, Healthy Cell Calm Mood. This is how Healthy Cell packages come to you. You get a month supply. Is it 30 or 60 of them?
30.
Is it 30? You get a month supply. And Healthy Cell is supplementation, oftentimes one of these pouches. And if you have kids or grandkids and you give them the little pouches of applesauce, it's the same idea, right? I'll do it. How easy this is. And they've made this so that's super easy. If you have weak fingers, you don't have to worry about it. This is berry lemon.
It's good.
Calm mood. And that's it. That is your supplementation. There's like 12 pills in this. Things that you would take for other stuff, right? Let's read about it. Soothing herbal extracts, vitamins, and adaptogens, including ashwagandha, 5-HTP, and L-theanine for relaxation and occasional stress relief. So instead of popping a Xanax, which is highly addictive, and isn't it a narcotic? I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to calm you down. Rather than taking a prescription from Big Pharma, healthycell.com/Wendy. Go read about them. I love their products. I took a REM sleep last night. You need help falling asleep, but you don't want to wake up and feel like you got run over by a truck. REM sleep. Even if you don't get enough sleep, you don't feel like you didn't get enough sleep. You wake up and you're like, okay, I can do this. Calm mood. I'm telling you what. That is a nice vibe. And you just feel like you're even. You're not going to lose your mind and flip out on somebody. You're super stressed about something, calm mood. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Who's that Bigfoot out there? Jesus. Do you hear it?
Yep. Hear it. I felt it.
Was that our... what was that?
I was going to put out a glass of water.
You hear that? The buzz. You guys get the buzz? Just one or two people say yes.
See it break.
Bell radio program. You know, what happens when you create a story about America that is so toxic that flying the American flag becomes a punishable offense? Can you believe that? Well, you could if you were in Massachusetts. What happened to you people in Massachusetts? Are you all weird? Honestly, are you all just deranged leftists who hate freedom and making your own decisions, that you need people meddling in your life every turn you make? Or do you guys need to examine your elections because a lot of people you didn't vote for seem to keep winning and making really lousy decisions? The USSun.com. Homeowners rage as they're warned of hefty fines for flying July 4th flags at their homes under protection law. What? It's obviously some lefty idea for some climate bullcrap. Let's find out. So homeowners are raging after being banned from flying flags and banners outside of their homes this 4th of July. They've been warned of hefty fines and penalties under a local protection law. The town we're talking about is Newbury, Massachusetts, okay? The shock ban impacts residents of Plum Island, Massachusetts, as officials with Newbury Town send out warning notices. They said they had become aware of the use of the devices and materials intended to deter endangered species away from their properties. These shorebirds are protected under law, and as a result, the letter noted that items such as mylar streamers, flags, and reflective materials are banned. But you know it's perfectly reasonable? Your stupid windmills that take out how many millions of birds every year. Didn't Maura Healey want to put a freaking windmill in the river? Right? Yeah, she did. But if it's an American flag, well, that's a bridge too far. Why don't we just put up a bunch of, I don't know, solar panels? Because those also take out hundreds of thousands of birds every year. Now you can keep that. We just don't like your flag. Well, apparently these shorebirds are protected under law. And as a result, the letter noted that items such as mylar streamers, flags, and reflective materials are banned. The letter warns that activities intended to deter protected shorebirds from utilizing suitable habitat may be viewed as harassment or disruption of normal feeding, nesting, or migratory behavior. Look, my family's been mooching off of my in-laws for the better part of 30 years. Every year, my wonderful mother and father-in-law pay through the wazoo to put all 19 of us up in this massive house on the water on Hilton Head Island. Now, every year for the last 20 years, we've been watching the little turtles, right? The loggerhead turtles or whatever they're called. They have their little nests. And it's always around the August time that we go to mooch off of the in-laws that you have to be very careful. Can't leave your lights on if you're on a beachfront property because that throws off the moon light that creates, all of the hatchlings to go march towards the, like, I get it. I want all those little turtles to make it to the water too. Like 1 in 100 will actually make it, right? You do your part. But flying the American flag, really? That's where we are. That's where we are. Apparently, flying the flag is illegal under the state and federal Endangered Species Acts. Authorities further warned that a violation of such rules carries significant regulatory and financial penalties. These are the clowns that were narking on you as part of the coronavirus volunteer corps of narcs. My neighbor tested positive for COVID, I know, but they're not socially distancing. I'm going to call that 1-800 number, 1-800-ISOC. And I'm going to report them. This is where we are on the left. I don't know if Americans need a better choice. That line of demarcation. How crazy are you willing to be? My liberal neighbor, who's a very nice person, has an abolish ICE, protect your neighbors sign in her front yard. I'd love to pull her aside and say, instead of putting that in your yard, how about an American flag? But who knows? That might be kryptonite to the left, right? It's bonkers. All we want is to be left alone. We love America. We believe in American exceptionalism. We believe in making America great. We believe in draining the swamp, cleaning up the mess, making things more affordable, and exposing all of the rat-fink losers who for the last God knows how long have worked tirelessly to make your life a living, miserable, and expensive hell. Other than that, I got nothing. It's an Independence Day story. You got to talk about it. Okay, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's the sweetest thing. All these tourists from overseas who've come to America and realized they've been lied to about us for years. And it's the media's fault. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. That story made me sweat a little bit. I'm just going to be honest with you. Simkovich Concussion Institute. Before I met Dr. Simkovich, I'm not so sure I would have been like, yeah, I'll totally take a week off of my job and fly to a different city I've never been and find a week apartment rental or hotel, whatever, long-term stay and go see a doctor I've never met before and hope that he can fix my traumatic brain injury because that makes sense. And then I met Dr. Simkovich and it made perfect sense. And I was like, what just happened to me? Well, I met a guy who really wants to fix you and he has the skills to do it. And he doesn't need to cut into your brain and he doesn't have to give you IVs. There's no blood and you're not going to be in screaming agony. He fixes your broken brain by putting his fingers in your mouth and moving things around. And when you fall or you get bashed, things get rattled and they get out of position. And that can make you feel dizzy. That can make you feel sick. That can make you sensitive to sound and to light and can make everything inside out. It could give you anxiety. It makes you feel like a recluse. And then all of a sudden you're spiraling into a dark spot. Don't. You don't have to. 412-366-3700. Please write it down. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. People come in from all over the country to see Dr. Simkovich. And usually what he does takes less than a week. 412-366-3700. Well,
I don't know why I did that. I couldn't hear it. All I hear is this damn bird out here.
oh, you have a bird.
I'm
know.
surprised you can't hear it.
No, I can't.
I can hear him through my headphones.
What?
Yeah.
The birds outside your house when you and I are on the stream in the morning, I hear them very much, but I didn't.
This damn thing, if we had windows that open, you might hear a gunfire.
Hey, look, it's probably some random, spackled, endangered species.
It's a mechanical bird I'd have to shoot. That's what I would call it. Mechanical bird.
Mechanical bird.
It's spying on me.
I know.
And
I
I'd have to shoot it.
That's the tinfoil hat I like to see.
Yeah.
I'm warm in here right now, and I've got this thing on. It's not bad. Is your
like what's that finger? Can you see Did you just see the thumbs up pop up on the screen?
No, I wasn't looking though.
Look at right beside me. I don't know what that is.
I don't see it still. Am I not seeing something? Am I mental?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it my computer?
I don't see. Does anybody else see a thumbs up?
Yes. See, some people are seeing it.
I don't see it. That's weird.
It pops up for like 2 seconds. It's always on my side.
Hold on, let me get some sun. Hold on.
Oh, you're gonna get some sun. It's 91 degrees.
No,
Brock's gonna be parched.
I have the worst kind of problem in heat and humidity.
In the what?
In heat and humidity. I have a very sweaty head. Like it drips. Well, you saw it when we were shoveling. You saw it. Like, and I've given
saw it. I had to go in and change my shorts. What are you talking about?
Well, you were soaked from head to toe when I was shoveling, but I've only given that to a couple of my sons when they're really happy about that. Thanks, Mom, for giving me your sweaty head. I'm like, you're welcome. I can only bequeath so many of my jewels and gifts to those below me.
I'll just take the gold bars.
I know, right? I have my gold coin with me. How you doing? I so desperately want to pry it out and just have it in my fingers.
Wait, do a thumbs up, it'll show up. No, I haven't done that, but
I don't know.
Sometimes in the software they do updates.
Don't get me started. that software update on my freaking MacBook, and now I can't use half of the programs. And I'm like, we had to do workarounds. Remember how I was losing my mind because the rundown had to change, and we had to go over to this Word system.
Like
it's been
most
better.
things,
it was better. It was better. I
the
admit.
battle. What comes after the battle?
It yielded a good thing.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly Morgan, morgansfitness.com. I really love this idea. A lot of people don't like going and working out in a gym. If you've never been to a gym, you're like, how am I supposed to know what these machines are all about, right? Now, Morgan's Fitness has 4 locations in Pennsylvania, in Somerset and Cambria County. So if you're local, go get her. Get Kelly Morgan stat. I'd want her. She's a professional bodybuilder, and you will vomit when you see her body because it's perfect. But she wants to help you. She was fat once. She loves alcohol. She loves burgers and fries. And she had to really learn how to make a balance. And so she learned how to eat. And then she started, after she was in the Air Force, she started exercising, and she taught herself the body and became a fitness guru. And then, I don't know, she grew her business and lived the American dream and started something, and people came, and she expanded 4 locations. And then during COVID, she was like, hey, a lot of people don't want to go to a gym. They just want exercises, and they need people to show them how to do it. So they started this thing online called 90 Ignite. And the idea is you give her 90 days and she ignites your body's ability to change. And so people who haven't seen their abs, who have buns of burger, they want steel. You got it. 90 days. You give it to her, she'll give it to you back. And the befores and after pictures are like freaking mind-bending. Phenomenal. morgansfitness.com.
Apparently, Toolsy got the sweating gene.
Oh, yes.
He said he appreciates it.
Oh, yeah. I would see him in his crib when he was just a baby, and there would be a wet mark all the way around his head. I kind of fell in love with some of the World Cup soccer stuff that's been going on. And I will admit freely, my husband and children yell at the TV, and I usually am not around when they're watching soccer. I'm like, okay, you guys have your fun. I'm going to go do something like pull weeds. I fell into a rabbit's hole of goodness yesterday, and man, did I need it. You know, the World Cup is showing the world just how amazing America is, even if a staggering number of leftists don't feel that way. And I got a poll to drop on you at the very end of this show, which is just, it really leaves me incredulous. But I want to give you some sound, and I want you to hear some of this stuff that's been going on. This is a gentleman who just takes his camera and he's like, look, I want to say thank you. And please don't forget, America, how absolutely wonderful you are. Wow. When was the last time we got this?
This is a message to all of the American people out there that may or may not see this video. I never want you to forget this summer, the summer of 2026. I never want you, the American people, to forget the amazing positive impact that you have had on so many people around the globe. I never want you to forget how amazing you all are. Never want you to forget how your kindness has made people not want to leave this great country this summer. I want you all to remember how you have been so welcoming to so many people from all around the world this summer. I never want you to forget how you have looked out for people and how you have treated people this summer and how you have been so hospitable to everybody this summer. Most importantly, never forget who you guys are. You are the great American people, defined by character, integrity, hope, love, kindness, and support. Please, America, never forget the summer of 2026.
Wow. Now, as a recovered former television news anchor and reporter, I know it wouldn't sell and they would never do it. But can you imagine turning on your evening news and getting an hour of that? An hour of positivity, an hour of reinforcement, an hour of not being told you suck, that you're racist, that you don't know your white privilege, that you're this and you're that, and you should be embarrassed, and we demand X, Y, or Z, and we're gonna fight. Instead, you just heard, thank you. And what an extraordinary country you have. Thank you for sharing it with us. Can you imagine? CNN, all of a sudden, they'd be like, all right, what happened? Hey, Earl, get in here. Did you guys see the ratings last night? What happened? Oh, we just didn't suck for an hour. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Here's a Florida man who doesn't like soccer. He's like, I'm a redneck. I'm not watching soccer. I'm not watching football. I watch football. Except he's sitting there and he's like, no, I'm not crying. You're crying. What?
Damn you, FIFA. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not going to cry, but ma'am, somebody tell me why I'm sitting here getting emotional watching damn soccer videos. I'm not a soccer guy. I like the real football. But man, I think y'all did it, FIFA, with this damn World Cup stuff. I think y'all just made a Florida redneck into a soccer fan. Like, how can you be a decent human being and not love the unity and love and kindness and respect that is being shown right now on the world stage with the World Cup? Like, watching all these cultures mix. Watching fans from different parts of the world do jersey swaps and give each other hugs. Watching Koreans try freaking Mexican food and embrace the culture and love it. And then show grace in their loss. Them Japanese folks trying In-N-Out for the first time and loving it. The Scottish in Boston. While watching every European fall in love with Texas brisket, but simultaneously almost have a heat stroke because they're learning what real heat is. And do not get me started on that old Kansas man who came into tears and praised the Algerians for choosing his little Kansas hometown to come set up base camp. I am honestly so incredibly thankful that America was able to be given the opportunity and the privilege to host this. Like, we needed this. The world needed this.
So he's talking about this little old man. I'm like, who? In Kansas? What's he talking about? Because I totally am sitting here bawling watching him. And it goes on for another minute. So I found the story. And it takes us to Lawrence, Kansas, where there's a World Cup love connection between Team Algeria and the people of Lawrence. Enjoy this.
The beautiful thing about the World Cup is watching people from all walks of life come together. This is a story about how the Algeria men's national team was adopted by the people of Lawrence, Kansas. Two groups with literally nothing in common outside of this soccer tournament, now bonded for life. The Algerian men's national team began their World Cup journey with a 10-hour flight from the capital Algiers to Kansas City, Missouri. They then bused nearly an hour to their base camp in Lawrence, arriving in the pitch dark to the sleepy Midwest town after midnight. Imagine their surprise when they pulled up to more than 300 supporters gathered outside their DoubleTree hotel cheering and waving flags. Yes, there were fans from Algeria, but there were also many residents with no connection to the country aside from this.
Thank you to Team Algeria for choosing our hometown, Lawrence, Kansas, to come here. And so welcome. Welcome to the United States. Welcome to Kansas. I was so happy that they chose our town for their base camp.
The city of Lawrence went all out to welcome their visitors from North Africa. The streets and parks are decked out with Algerian flags, banners, signs in the country's colors. Local businesses prepared for months, creating Algerian merchandise. The city showed movies that celebrate Algerian culture. A special art exhibition was installed at the Lawrence Art Center. High school students and others produced welcome videos too.
Team Algeria, welcome to Lawrence, Kansas. الجزائر، مرحبا بكم في لورنس كانزاس.
The stands were packed for an open team training at Kansas University. Soccer fans from across the state came out to support Algeria.
We are so glad you're here, and we are cheering you on. And what else do we want to tell them?
I hope that your team wins, and we're cheering you guys on.
Nearby Olathe, Kansas has a large Algerian population, and there are more in Kansas City who are thrilled to see their team take the world stage. Just as excited, though, are the people of Lawrence for their newly adopted team. Two worlds separated by 5,000 miles brought together courtesy of the beautiful game. Maybe, just maybe, we're all closer than you might think.
Why don't you hear about that on the evening news? Why don't they tell you that story? There was a darling girl who was a University of Kansas student, and she's standing there with a microphone and a huge crowd. And it's all these Algerians and all sorts of people across Kansas, and they're having a blast. And she's like, oh my gosh, we just want them to keep winning because we don't want them to leave. Don't leave. And there's a reverse shot of the bus when the team from Algeria arrived and bussed into Lawrence. Again, population 97,000. And a lot of that's the school. There were fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. It was Independence Day. And the guys in the bus are like, this is their first time to America. And they're going to little old Kansas. And the people there have been planning for literally years. Nuts! They went crazy. Fireworks everywhere. Kids going up and down, jumping. Hundreds, if not thousands of people ultimately. Where is that story? Where is the story of the fans in the stands? Whether it's Boston or LA, wherever, cleaning up the garbage. Where are those stories? And then there's this, a montage of European fans, first-timers to America, who were told the worst. It's going to suck. America sucks. The people are horrible. They hate foreigners. They hate everything. It's going to be a failure. And they come to the most beautiful place they've ever seen. And they put together a montage saying they owe us an apology. Oh my. Absolutely love it. And that goes on for minutes. Did you hear the common denominator of all of that? It's the media. The media, who long ago stopped telling you the truth, who stopped reporting objectively, telling you what was going on, whose reporters and anchors long ago stopped being curious and dug into this angry, spiteful, divisive nonsense. And that is what you get every single time you flip on the television or open up a newspaper. And it is not our story. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, perhaps we need to export some Democrats to Europe so they can, sweat out their media-created disappointment in the greatest place on earth. 8% of Democrats think America is the greatest place on planet Earth. 8%. Really? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Enemy of the people. Public enemy number one. You know, and there's something that's so much better about if you listen to American football commentary, the guys in the booth or the people who are doing, you know, the commentary on the field or what have you, and then you listen to what happens in Premier League or what have you, it's so different. It's so different. It's like night and day. It's night and day. And there is a level of decorum and class and sportsmanship and gentlemanliness with fierce competition. But there is a level of class that exists in football that does not exist in football. My humble opinion. And it's interesting that you don't see a whole lot of this coverage. Oh, they like ranch dressing. They like a lot more than that.
So do we all.
Tell me about it. I think I got through everybody, Brock, don't you?
I think so.
Okay. Makes me feel better. I just don't understand this. Like, how do you teach? How do you snap somebody out of their hypnosis? Because it's like every day that this president is president and we talk, it's like we're trying to lay those breadcrumbs. We're trying to put those pieces of the puzzle on the table so that people who haven't seen the overall image in their mind can start putting the pieces together and see the frame and see the flower in the pot. Oh, here's the lemon. Okay. You've been sold a lot of BS, and it's a shame. It ought not be like that.
You know, I'm not a world traveler.
I'm not either.
But I would think that pretty much what they see from America is our politics, which is
ugly.
The worst part of America.
It's the worst of the worst.
It's.
Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like how California had to watch, the world had to watch Spencer Pratt. You know, what happened there to start paying attention to how ridiculous it is. Like it's so slow, but it really was rather slow to get where we are now. They've been working on this for 30, 40 years. The indoctrination of young people. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm going to go to page 24 here. I highlighted that of this poll. And these polls just they exacerbate a problem that the media has created. This idea of inequity, that it's futile, nothing's going to change, that rich people suck and nobody cares and everything's imbalanced. And it's like, you know what? Look at what's going on in DC with the celebration of America. The media won't cover it. They don't want to cover football. That's true. I do hate everybody. But hey, trannies can't play girl sports anymore, so that's good.
No trannies in football. Either one.
Want to get you like a 4th of July punch in the face here, but here's a poll for you. Only 8% of Democrats consider America the greatest country on earth. Now, look, a lot of people don't travel. A lot of people have never gone anywhere. A lot of people haven't even been to Mexico or made it north to Canada. right? And so when you're fed this steady diet of how unfair and how bogus and how rigged and how hateful and bigoted and racist and Islamophobic, blah, 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 all this mumbo jumbo on the left, if that's your diet, if that's what you're taught in school, if you matriculate into the toxic grooming of a college university, right, where 98% of the people are rabid leftists who teach rabid leftistism, right? This is your worldview. And then you see these people from other countries, 1.2 million per town that come here for these games, and they're like mystified. So here's this article from Breitbart. Many Democrats are not expressing American pride ahead of its semi-quincentennial celebration, as only 8% of Democrats consider America the greatest country on earth. I wish there was a follow-up question, a fill-in-the-blanker that was like, if your answer is no, tell me which one is. I'd love to know how many people would put down Cuba or Venezuela or El Salvador, right? Tell me where. Results come from the latest weekly survey from The Economist and YouGov. Across the board, a majority say the U.S. is at least better than average. Really? The whole world wants to get here. The whole world wants to have their baby here. And they sure do now that you've got 6 Supreme Court justices, including Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, and John Roberts. I swear, they got dirt on that man so big, right? They decided, you know what? If you have a baby here, even if you're an illegal alien who broke our laws to get here, that baby is an American citizen. Say, what? Why does everybody want to get here? Rosie O'Donnell tried to claw her way back. She and Ellen DeGeneres, they're like, I'm leaving if Trump wins again. And we're like, well, here's your ticket. Here's your CBP One app. Bye-bye. Go home somewhere else. Across the board, a majority say the U.S. is at least better than average. Specifically, 25% said America is the greatest country. 20% says it's among the greatest. And 12% said it's better than average, I guess. Only 12% overall said America is worse than average. What does that even mean? What is average when you're the United States? Average is what? It's the mix of everybody else. You think it's better to be in Ukraine than it is to be here? You think it's better to be in Germany than it is to be here? It's better to be in the UK. Can't have guns over there. That's good. Yeah, but everybody just stabs themselves to death, right? And once they get rid of knives, it'll just be throwing staplers at each other. So it's one thing after another. Only 12% overall said America is worse than average. Opinions vary significantly among political parties. No duh. Republicans are far more likely to describe America as the greatest country, 52%, followed by 28%. And by the way, followed by 28% of Republicans who said it's among the greatest countries. So 52 and 28, that's a fat 80%. 4 out of 5 Republicans say, you know what, this place is freaking special. Meanwhile, not even 1 in 10 Democrats think so. Riddle me that. Only 8% of Democrats describe America as the greatest country, while 16% said it's among the greatest. Stunningly, a plurality of so that 16 plus 8 is 24. So literally 3 times more Republicans view America through the eyes of pride and appreciation and see it for what she is than do Democrats. Another 13% of Democrats said America is about average. About average. This is the product. It's the product of a slow drip, a slow, steady walk to the left. This is what happens when public schools stop teaching math and science and history and shop and home economics and instead teach radical gender ideology and support the transition closet for a little drop-in. If you want to go from Johnny to Janie without your parents' knowledge, you can do that. This is the place that took down the president's picture, right? President's on the wall, and they took his down. These are the people who took down the American flag and instead pay homage to whatever that LGBTIAQ plus kaleidoscope of doom is, the gay flag. These people have been cultured to feel this way. And it's a shame because the media certainly helps, as so do the schools and all of these people, activists, who are just a lot of really miserable white chicks who now have a lot of cats. Okay. And don't email me and say, I have cats and I'm not miserable. It's so great. Fine. Love your cats. But I'm just saying. Okay. Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the takeaway today for 4th of July. America is unequivocally, undeniably, unquestionably the greatest place on planet Earth. I'm Wendy Bell. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Until next time, have a great one. Peace.